Chapter 578. A woman's jealousy has always been a lethal weapon. Yin Sheng was currently feeling proud of herself, but if she were to offend those new and old female mages who were chasing after Ingxiao, she wouldn't even need to do anything. Someone would take care of her. Being able to make use of other people's hands to deal with Yin Sheng, her teacher wouldn't suspect her. Kuling was secretly pleased with herself. Yes, not only is she fickle, she also doesn't have any respect for her elders. She doesn't have any respect for me, her senior sister. I have long wanted to teach her a lesson. I can tell you guys that Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger would go to the central canteen to eat after training every day. Remember, don't tell anyone that I was the one who told you this. Kuling guided them patiently. Those new female mages didn't know that they were being used as knives. They thanked Kuling gratefully and left. Yin Sheng and Dongwang Linger, who had already entered the magical space, naturally didn't know what was happening outside. The two of them had already started the latest round of training for the dark gold rank teacher. Within the magical barrier on the left, Dongwang Linger was trembling. Her eyes were wide open, and the magic scepter in her hand was trembling nonstop. Although she had already undergone the previous 2 rounds of training, she didn't expect that the dark gold rank teacher would actually think of such a perverted training method. This time, the training was actually to kill someone. Dark gold rank teacher, as expected of a teacher who was known as a killer. The person standing in front of her was actually a living person. This time, if Dongwang Linger wanted to complete the training, she would have to defeat all kinds of virtual people that appeared in the magical space. This person in front of her was one of Dongwang Linger's maids in her palace. Although it was just a virtual existence, that person was vivid and lifelike, just like a real person. She would even respectfully address Dongwang Linger as Your Highness. The dark gold-ranked teacher's stern voice resounded in her ears. Use flash of thunder and kill her. No, I can't do it. Dongwang Linger clearly knew that the illusion in front of her couldn't possibly be the real person. However, that lively smile and that lively appearance of the illusion in front of her was clearly her personal maid. If you can't kill her, then just wait for her to kill you. Whoosh! An ice arrow pierced into Dongwang Linger's body. Dongwang Linger let out a miserable shriek. She felt that her entire body was ice cold. His skin was frozen bit by bit, and even his consciousness was being ravaged. The maid in front of Dongwang Ling didn't show any mercy at all. She raised her magic scepter, and one ice arrow after another was shot towards Dongwang Ling. Dongwang Ling could even smell her skin being pierced and the smell of fresh blood permeating the air. The taste of death instantly surrounded Dongwang Ling. This feeling of being surrounded by death lasted for half an hour. Only then did Dongwang Linger wake up from her coma. Remember, either you die or she dies. Once you entered the Duqian blood beast world, no one knew what kind of enemies you would encounter. Perhaps the enemy would transform into your comrade and give you a fatal blow at the most dangerous moment. At that time, you would face true death. The name of this training is death training. The dark gold instructor's voice was like a ghost. It was like a venomous snake that was sticking out its tongue from an unknown corner. In another magic barrier, Yin Sheng's situation wasn't any better. However, the illusion she was facing was actually Hu Jiuxing. That woman who had taken off her mask had a beautiful face that was just inches away from her. Her voice and smile were so similar to Hu Jiuxing from Icefall City. The name of this trial is death training. What you need to do is to kill your enemy. Use the least amount of magic and the fastest magic to kill your enemy. The dark gold instructor's voice was like a lullaby. Yin Sheng didn't hesitate like Dongwang Ling. She quickly chanted an incantation. Almost at the same time, a flame explosion whistled and struck towards Hu Jiuxing. Yin Sheng was very clear that that was an illusion. That was also the strongest opponent she had encountered in her life. Although she had already thought it through, when the flame explosion engulfed Hu Jiuxing, the woman's miserable cries and the blood that splattered everywhere were so real. That was a real death. It wasn't that Yun Sheng hadn't killed people before. However, she had never killed someone like today. Moreover, it was such a tragic death. Moreover, the target was her own mother. Yin Sheng's stomach twitched, and she couldn't help but vomit. Remember, this is the feeling of death. It is also the true essence of dark magic. Dark magic is endless slaughter. Not fearing slaughter, experiencing slaughter, and controlling slaughter. The dark gold instructor's voice sounded again. After emptying her stomach, Yin Sheng sat down cross-legged. She felt that just now, the dark magic soul in her body had miraculously grown a little. This kind of special, almost crazy training method was probably only used by dark gold instructors. Yin Sheng couldn't help but smile bitterly. Death training. Being killed or being killed. For the next 2 months, the cycle repeated over and over again. At the beginning, Yin Sheng and Dongwang Linger were very uncomfortable with it. Especially Dongwang Linger. She showed a very strong resistance to this kind of cruel training. Her resistance was especially obvious. At the beginning, she was reluctant to part with her divine soul. Later on, she would have nightmares. There were quite a few times when the bloody death training woke her up from her nightmares. Her appetite wasn't very good. In just a month's time, Dongwang Linger quickly became haggard. She was like a flower that had lost its water. Yin Sheng had also tried to enlighten Dongwang Linger a few times. However, it didn't work. She also tried to concoct some magic potions for Dongwang Linger. However, nothing worked. Yin Sheng understood very well that Dongwang Linger could only wait for Dongwang Linger to get over it. Dongwang Linger's strange behavior also attracted the attention of Gufeng and Abandon. After Gufeng and Abandon found out about the two's training, both of them were very shocked. Especially Gufeng. He even felt somewhat resentful. Gufeng said with heartache, "This isn't training at all. This is simply torture. Linger, why don't you stop following the dark gold class teacher? She is indeed like the rumors outside. A lunatic. I will help you talk to the dazzling light class teacher and see if he is willing to accept you." Abandon was also somewhat worried. However, he didn't agree with Gufeng's way of doing things. Every teacher has their own training method. Yin Sheng and Linger only need time. Moreover, dark magic is one of the most unconventional types of magic. The dazzling light class teacher is a light magic teacher. Other than you, the others won't be able to learn anything from him. Gufeng sighed. He also understood that what Abandon said was the truth. We will get through it just like last year. Yin Sheng patted Dongwang Linger. Why don't we stop training today and go out for a walk? Dongwang Linger forced a smile. The two of them bade farewell to Gufeng and Abandon and strolled around the mainland's elite camp. Chapter 579. Along the way, Dongwang Ling remained silent. The two of them walked all the way to the side of a lake. Yin Sheng felt that this lake was very familiar. It seemed to be the lake that she and Yi Baiming went to last time. Upon thinking of Yi Baiming, Yin Sheng's face unknowingly reddened. It had been quite a while since she last saw Yi Baiming. Ever since the last time she proposed to cancel the engagement, Night Fox didn't seem to be very happy. Dongwang Linger suddenly stopped and said, "Yin Sheng, I'm thinking, is it because I'm not suitable to learn dark magic? I feel like giving up." Yin Sheng's thoughts were interrupted. She suddenly realized that the predicament that Dongwang Ling was in was even harder to get rid of than she had imagined. Dongwang Ling was a very prideful person. In the past few trials, no matter how dry and boring they were, she would still persevere. However, this time around, she couldn't persevere anymore. This was also the first time that she proposed to give up. "Ling, you're just not used to it." Yin Sheng tried to persuade her. "I'm not you. I've never been as strong as you. I also don't have much talent. If it wasn't for your magic potion, I would have most likely been eliminated. If I were to persevere for a while longer, being eliminated would only be a matter of time." A sad smile appeared on Dongwang Ling's face. "Yin Sheng, I won't hide it from you. I don't like killing. In fact, I hate killing. My father was assassinated. My headmaid also died in order to protect me. Thus, the training this time around is very difficult for me. I'm giving up." Dongwang Ling lowered her head. Tears were welling up in her eyes. No matter what, she was only a 13-year-old girl. Yin Sheng was her true friend. She didn't mind revealing her true self in front of Yin Sheng. "Linger, Yunsheng still wanted to say something. However, the commotion beside her caused her gaze to sharpen. Beside the lake, tens of female mages and warriors appeared. They slowly moved closer and stared fiercely at Yunsheng and Donghuang Ling-er. Yunsheng looked behind her. There was a lake behind her. Just now, when Donghuang Ling-er was feeling down, she only paid attention to Donghuang Ling-er and didn't notice that someone was following her. The dozen or so female magicians all looked ferocious and unfriendly. These people were the female magicians who had been spying on Yunsheng and the others earlier. After they got the daily routine of Yunsheng and the others from Keling, they had been spying on them. Originally, they had planned to ambush them and teach them a good lesson. Who would have known that Yunsheng and Donghuang Ling-er were busy with their training, and their daily routine was also disrupted. Therefore, the ambush didn't succeed. Today, he had been careless and was caught red-handed by these people. Yunsheng wrinkled her brows and hid Donghuang Ling-er behind her back. Her gaze quickly passed through the dozen or so people. Among these female magicians, there were freshmen, but most of them were seniors. Among them, there were 3 or 4 who were mid-level saint magicians. If they were to fight, especially if the other party were to charge at them like a swarm of bees, Yunsheng and Donghuang Ling might not be able to deal with them. Senior sisters, why are you all following us? We don't seem to have offended you all. Yunsheng knew that if she were to fight head-on, she wouldn't be able to gain anything. Her eyes quickly scanned the surroundings, thinking about the possibility of escaping. Shameless bitch, you still dare to say that you didn't offend us? You seduced senior brother Qi. Seeing that Yunsheng and Donghuang Ling were surrounded, the dozen or so female magicians all had ruthless expressions on their faces. There was no one around, and they became even more fearless. In this area, very few people would appear. Even if they really did something to Donghuang Ling-er and Donghuang Ling-er, no one would know. They had been following them for 2 months, and it wasn't easy for them to get this opportunity. Just now, when Yunsheng met with Qi and the others, Keling's words were confirmed. This made the group of female magicians even more jealous. So it turns out that they're a group of brainless, love-struck magicians. Yunsheng complained in her heart. Looks like beauty is also a source of trouble. She was really wronged. Senior sisters, I'm afraid that you all have misunderstood. Senior brother Qi and I are only from the same hometown. We are all citizens of Zhou State. Yunsheng said as a few needles appeared in her hand. As long as those few female magicians surrounded her, she would immediately take action. Same hometown? You have quite a lot of people from the same hometown. Then how are you going to explain senior brother Yi? A few of the female magicians had a vicious look on their faces, as if they wanted to tear Yunsheng apart. Yunsheng's black eyes turned cold. In the entire continent's elite camp, there were very few people who knew about her relationship with Yi Baiming. Chun Lianer liked Yi Baiming. Of course, she wouldn't say it out. Gufeng and Qi also wouldn't say it out. The only one who would say it out was Keling. She had seen Yi Baiming coming to find her. Also, how did these new and old magicians know the time and route that Donghuang Ling-er and I went out? Keling, it's her doing again. Ling-er, they have a lot of people. Later on, you should go and find Master first. Yunsheng secretly said to Donghuang Ling-er. Donghuang Ling-er was startled. The situation that they were in now was actually the same as 6 years ago, when they met the demonic beast that was on the wanted list. At that time, Yunsheng also told her to run away. Right after Yunsheng finished speaking, she lowered her body. Like an agile cheetah, the few bone needles in her hand shot out first. A few silver lights flickered, and the bone needles silently flew through the air, shooting towards those few female magicians. Yunsheng was very clear that in a competition where magicians were participating, the most taboo for magicians was to fight against magicians. Immediately after, with a thought in Yunsheng's mind, a few flames burst out from the air. Fast, very fast. Those dozen or so new and old female magicians came to besiege Yunsheng and Donghuang Ling-er today. Originally, they were confident that they would win. After all, they had already carefully investigated Yunsheng and Dongwang Ling. The two of them were only master magicians, and one of them had broken through to become a saint magician. However, the two of them had yet to truly learn high-level magicians. However, they didn't expect that before the other party even started chanting, they had already shot out a few flames. In just a breath's time, those few magicians suddenly screamed miserably and covered their eyes. Their eyes were already filled with blood, and a few needles had pierced into their eyes. Although Yin Sheng's speed wasn't slow, the number of magicians on the other party's side was, after all, a lot more. The reaction of those wind-type magicians wasn't slow either. They quickly chanted and cast wind-type magicians on their own people. The earth-type magicians also immediately started chanting defensive spells. Catch those two little bitches. Dongwang Ling only heard a burst of noise. Her eyes that were originally somewhat cowering suddenly focused bit by bit. The uncertainty and cowardice that was originally there also disappeared bit by bit. Yin Sheng, I'll help you. Dongwang Ling didn't cower. She suddenly found that feeling, the feeling of fighting alongside Yin Sheng back then. This time, she wasn't going to cower anymore. Hearing Dongwang Ling's voice, Yin Sheng's heart was filled with joy. She understood that no matter if they could successfully break out of the encirclement or not, the shadow that had been troubling Dongwang Ling for many days had already been removed. Chapter 580. The two of them, one at the front and one at the back, one at the front and one at the back, one at the back, one at the back. The two of them were fighting together for the second time, and their coordination was very good. Especially with the special training from the dark gold rank teachers, the two of them attacked quickly and ruthlessly. The two of them only had one thought in their mind, and that was to make these love-struck fools who were being ordered around like knives peel off a layer of skin, even if they didn't die. Next to the lake, figures would fall down from time to time. The two agile figures were like butterflies shuttling back and forth. Damn it, they are actually so hard to deal with. Aren't the two of them freshmen who have never participated in actual combat training before? Time passed by minute, seeing that the sun was setting and their own people would fall down from time to time. The few senior mages started to get anxious. They didn't expect that Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling would be so destructive when working together. However, these senior mages weren't nervous at all. This was because they had already determined a fact, and that was that no matter how good their coordination was, no matter how hard it was to deal with them, the other party was at most a master mage and a saint mage. There was a limit to one's strength. The two of them had already released many magic spells just now, and they were already at the end of their rope. They wouldn't be able to hold on for long and would run out of energy soon. At that time, wouldn't they just be obediently waiting to be captured? When the few senior mages thought of this, it was as if they were injected with chicken blood, and their spirits started to tremble. However, man proposes, God disposes. What these senior mages didn't expect was that Yunsheng wasn't a true master mage. She was a saint mage. Moreover, after the special training from the dark gold rank teachers, Yunsheng and Dongwang Ling's magic control had improved greatly. Their magic accuracy was also astonishingly high, and the amount of magic they consumed was also much less. The two of them treated the female mages in front of them as the imaginary enemies they used in their previous training. In any case, they would use whatever magic they liked. One magic spell, one accurate. However, what made them want to vomit blood was that when Dongwang Ling was sweating profusely and almost couldn't hold on anymore, Yunsheng actually miraculously took out 2 bottles of potion and threw one to Dongwang Ling. The latter didn't even look at it, raised her head, and gulped it down. Something's not right. Senior sister, look at the two of them. They have magic potions with them. Several senior magic potioneers saw that Dongwang Ling who was originally exhausted, after drinking the magic potion, her eyes immediately glowed and she became full of energy. Their magic attacks became even more intense. Seeing that a few of the older magicians were beginning to run out of mana, they began to show signs of exhaustion. One of them gritted his teeth and took out a bottle of magic potion. This is bad. That's a forbidden medicine. Dongwang Ling but was originally getting braver and braver as the battle progressed. After the senior magician took the bottle of forbidden medicine, the magic power on his body flickered and suddenly emitted a bright light. A pair of magic wings appeared on her back. A sky magician. Yun Sheng did not expect that the other party would use a forbidden drug at the last moment. Those two wretched bitches, they forced me to use a forbidden drug. That senior magician looked at her companions who had already fallen on the ground, and his eyes were bloodshot. This senior magician was born in a family of magicians. The bottle of forbidden drug that she had with her was something that she had originally planned to use when she was in danger during the next blood purge. She didn't expect that this time she would use it because of two new magicians. Forbidden drugs were hard to come by, and the price was also ridiculously high. If it wasn't because she was forced to her limit, this female magician wouldn't use it. The effect of the forbidden drug was very fierce. Not only did it allow the strength of this senior magician to increase greatly, it also caused her to enter a state of madness. She originally only wanted to teach Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling a lesson so that they wouldn't be so close to senior brother Yi and junior brother Qi in the future. However, at this moment, she had the urge to kill the two of them. Within the Magic Elite Camp, there was a rule that stated that no one was allowed to use forbidden drugs of unknown origin. If this news were to spread out, not only the female magician who used the forbidden drug, even her teacher would be punished. In order to cover up, the female magician who used the forbidden drug decided that no matter what, she had to kill Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling. The situation isn't good. Later on, if the timing isn't right, we will immediately jump into the water and escape. Yun Sheng clenched her teeth. She understood that in a situation where she couldn't use the beast language ring, Yun Sheng didn't have the confidence to defeat this female magician. If we're going to escape, we will escape together. Dongwang Ling, O's palms were sweating due to nervousness. The two of them didn't hesitate and jumped into the lake behind them. You want to escape? It won't be that easy. The female magician laughed crazily. On top of her magic scepter, a few blue ice rays shot out. This was a water magician. After she used the forbidden drug to break through, her magic became even more astonishing. The sky magician's powerful magic power instantly froze the lake behind them. The surface of the lake was frozen. In midair, the female magician who used the forbidden drug was extremely arrogant. She looked down at Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling from above. What's wrong? You don't have anywhere to escape, right? As freshmen, you should act like freshmen. If the two of you can kneel down and beg for forgiveness right now, perhaps I can let the two of you go. On the ground, the few female magicians laughed together. Could it be that I can only use the beast language ring? Killing intent flashed past Yun Sheng's eyes. Yun Sheng's fingers subconsciously touched her beast language ring. If her identity as a summoner was exposed, what kind of trouble would it bring? However, if she didn't expose her identity, she and Dongwang Ling would probably die here today. If she were to use the beast language ring to kill these few female magicians. However, how is she going to explain this to Dongwang Ling? Also, the few people who went missing would definitely alarm the higher-ups of the Magic Elite Camp. In Yun Sheng's mind, hundreds and thousands of thoughts flashed through her mind as she thought about how to break through the current predicament. What are the few of you doing here? A cold voice sounded from midair. In the sky, there was a blue-clothed female magician who was standing there. Her expression was cold, and she was wearing a magician's robe. Her beautiful face was as if it was carved out of jade. However, such a beauty didn't have a trace of a smile on her face. It was as if her face was covered with frost. Sister Lan. Those female magicians who were causing trouble didn't expect that they would see their sister Lan. All of them were tongue-tied and couldn't say anything. After seeing Lan, the complacent expression of the female magician who used the forbidden drug immediately melted like snow under the sun. On her face, the arrogance was replaced by fear. Although they were both sky magicians, the gap between her and Lan was very big. Moreover, she used a forbidden drug. Lan was an out-and-out sky magician. Even when she encountered a blood cloud beast commander, she was still able to kill it. You used a forbidden drug to deal with your own fellow magicians? Who gave you the guts to do that? Lan's status in the Magic Elite camp was extraordinary. Not only was she the #1 cherry blossom beauty on the cherry blossom list, her strength was also very astonishing. Chapter 581. Not only was Lan beautiful, she was also one of the top 10 experts in the comprehensive list. She also had another identity. She was a powerful potion master. With these two identities added together, Lan's position in the entire continent's elite camp was very high. In some cases, her position was even higher than some teachers. Not to mention, she was also the disciple of the Great Elder. In the continent's elite camp, there was a rule that prohibited the use of forbidden potions during private fights and official competitions. Forbidden potions were only allowed to be used when one's life was in danger. For example, when one encountered a blood cloud beast. The female magician originally thought that since there were few people around, there shouldn't be anyone around. She didn't expect that because of the beautiful scenery around the lake, it had always been the best place for Blue, a water magician, to meditate. When Lan was meditating, she suddenly heard a sound from the outside world. She didn't expect that she would see a situation where a few seniors and freshmen were besieging her. Originally, she didn't like to meddle in other people's business. But just a moment ago, she saw Yunsheng. At first glance, she didn't recognize Yunsheng. But in the next exchange, Lan recognized Yunsheng's skills. A few years had passed. Yunsheng's magic didn't seem to have much improvement. However, her skills were as agile as a fairy. Lan didn't expect that she would also enter the continent's elite camp. No need to explain. You have violated the rules of the continent's elite camp. Automatically go to the disciplinary camp to receive your punishment. Lan only said a simple sentence, but that sentence seemed to have an invisible power. That female mage, who was originally unparalleled in the world, immediately became like a deflated balloon and obediently left with a group of female mages. Before they left, they didn't forget to glare at Yunsheng with hatred. In their eyes, there was an obvious hint of warning. All of a sudden, everyone left. Thank you, Sister Lan. Yunsheng had also entered the continent's elite camp. Her words were also more polite. Not to mention, Lan had indeed helped her a lot just now. I'm not helping you. I just don't want them to disturb my peace. Lan was very cold. Disturb her peace? Dong Wangling thought to herself. This senior sister called Lan is too cool. You are the one who was specially approved by the third elder to become a 1-star student, right? Lan didn't look at Dong Wangling. In the continent's elite camp, she was a very special existence. She rarely talked to others and had always liked to be alone. This time, she helped Yunsheng because she was curious about Yunsheng. She looked at the beast language ring on Yunsheng's hand. Yes. Yunsheng nodded her head. Who is your teacher? Lan looked at Yunsheng's. Dark gold ranked teacher, Yun's to say the least. You're not up to standard, Blue said, then turned around and walked away arrogantly. In her opinion, other than the first elder, even the other elders were not up to standard. Sai, why did she say that? Dong Wangling had just escaped from death. Originally, she was still grateful to Lan. But who knew that Lan would say that dark gold-ranked teachers were not powerful? She is strong, and we are weak. Naturally, she has the right to belittle us. When we become stronger than her in the future, it is still unknown who will say who is not powerful. Yunsheng suppressed her dissatisfaction in her heart. Today's experience gave Yunsheng and Dong Wangling a new understanding. Ever since they were young, the two of them had never encountered such a humiliating thing like today. Although Lan saved them, the two of them who were stubborn as they were, after being humiliated, they still felt depressed. When they returned to the straw house, they didn't see the dark gold-ranked teacher and Kaling. I'm so angry. One day, I will let them see how powerful I am. Dong Wangling waved her fist, her face full of annoyance. In the fight just now, she was hit by quite a few magic spells, and her body was full of wounds. However, because of this, she completely forgot about her previous thoughts of retreating and leaving. This was a good sign. Let me heal you. Yin Sheng took out her magic scepter and chanted. Gentle water magic enveloped Dong Wang Ling Er's body. Dong Wang Ling felt that the small wounds on her body were immediately healed at a miraculous speed. Wow, so miraculous. Yin Sheng, you actually know how to use high-grade water healing magic? Dong Wang Ling was astonished. She touched her arm, and the small wounds on it had all disappeared. It was better to use magic to heal wounds caused by magic. Dong Wang Ling had always thought that Yun Sheng was only good at ancient medical skills. She didn't expect that Yun Sheng also knew healing magic. After Yun Sheng obtained the Little Water Spirit Queen, she learned the high-grade water magic healing of water from her. Water magic was also the best healing magic apart from light magic. Under certain circumstances, Yin Sheng could even ask the Little Water Spirit Queen to help with the healing. I still know a lot of magic spells. It's just that I don't want to expose them in front of others. After Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Ling Er's wounds were healed, they immediately immersed themselves into practicing magic spells. After this incident, Dong Wang Ling never said that she wanted to leave, because she understood that only by learning more advanced magic would she be able to gain a foothold in the continent's magic elite camp. Only by gaining a foothold in the continent's magic elite camp would she be able to become truly powerful. Early morning of the second day, the sky was still pitch black. A few thick clouds covered the few rays of light before dawn. Because of yesterday's incident, Dong Wang Ling was still sleeping soundly due to overexertion. Yin Sheng got up. She quietly walked out of the thatched cottage. Yin Sheng used her transformation magic and changed her appearance. Other than that, she also prepared tins of gunny sacks. In the early morning sky, the hazy clouds in the sky revealed some light. In another hour, the sky would be completely bright. This hour was also the best time to wake up and meditate. At this time, most of the students in the continent's magic elite camp had already started meditating. Yun Sheng walked to the front of a tent and quietly went inside. Within the tent, a female mage was currently meditating. At this time, most of the mages would be meditating. In the meditating state, it was also the time when a mage's guard was at its lowest. As if she had heard something, the female mage opened her eyes. Just when she opened her eyes, the scene in front of her turned black. Immediately after, a gunny sack was placed on her face, making her unable to see anything clearly. Before the female magician could even react, a barrage of punches and kicks came one after another. Only after her head was punched twice as hard and she fainted did the person who was punching her leave. 1 hour later, tens of female mages ran out from several camps of the continent's magic elite camp while crying. Their faces, without exception, were all beaten to the point that they did not look human anymore. Chapter 582. When the teachers of the female mages heard the news, they rushed over. When they saw the state of their students, they couldn't restrain their anger. What happened? Who did this to you? Boo-hoo. Teacher, you must seek justice for me. It must be those 2 female disciples of the dark gold-ranked teacher. Yesterday, the female mages cried and complained. At this moment, when Dong Wang Linger woke up, Yun Sheng was meditating. It was very noisy outside. A bunch of teachers brought their students who were beaten up by them and came to the door angrily. The thatched house that was usually deserted suddenly became lively. Their voices almost overturned the thatched house of the dark gold-ranked teacher. Dark gold-ranked teacher, how are you disciplining your students? Look at how they beat up my students. The dark gold-ranked teacher was still wearing a black robe. He was expressionless as he stood at the side like a ghost and listened to the complaints of the teachers. Yun Sheng, Dong Wang Linger, and Keilang also walked out after hearing the commotion. Dong Wang Linger took a look and could barely recognize that those female mages were the ones who surrounded and attacked them yesterday. Looking at their current state, even their biological parents wouldn't be able to recognize them. Dong Wang Linger felt that it was funny and strange. This matter is really too coincidental. So funny. What does it have to do with us that they were beaten up? Dong Wang Linger and Yun Sheng had an I don't know expression on their faces. You still don't want to admit it? If it wasn't for you all, why would the 10 of us be beaten up in the morning? Furthermore, all of our faces were covered with gunny sacks. Sneak attacking us while we were meditating. You all are too despicable. The 10 are so female, May just started crying. How are we going to face other people when we are in such a state? Who knows who you all offended? In the morning, one of us was sleeping while the other was meditating. If you all don't believe me, you can ask senior sister Kaylang and the dark gold rank teacher. Also, your faces were covered with gunny sacks. How are you all so sure that we are the ones who beat you all up? Yun Sheng curled her lips. The two of them didn't leave the thatched house in the morning. The dark gold-ranked teacher said firmly, "Dark gold-ranked, you are their teacher. Of course, you have to protect them." The 10 or so teachers didn't want to give up. So what if he's shielding her? You guys could be considered as instructors of the continent's magic elite camp. Open your eyes wide and take a look. What are the cultivations of my 2 students? What is the cultivation level of those pig-headed girls behind you? If 2 Master Magi were able to defeat a dozen Saint Magi, they would be able to do so. Not only will I not punish them, but I will also praise them for well done. The dark gold-ranked instructor looked at the group of instructors mockingly, not taking them seriously at all. Whoosh! Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling couldn't help but praise in their hearts. A dark gold-ranked teacher is too handsome. Only a dark gold-ranked instructor would say something like that. After being scolded like that, the dozen or so mentors glared at the dark gold mentors. However, they were also puzzled in their hearts. How could 2 students with ordinary cultivations beat up more than 10 female students in such a short period of time? Wasn't this a little too strange? Dark gold ranked, don't be complacent. We will definitely report this matter to the Elder Council. You can just wait to be punished. The dozen or so mentors unwillingly left with their respective students and went to look for the Elder Council in anger. After they left, the brows of the dark gold-ranked instructor wrinkled. If this matter were to be reported to the Elder Council, they wouldn't let this matter go so easily. Who did it? Come out and admit it. The dark gold-ranked instructor took a glance at Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling. Instructor, when I woke up this morning, Yun Sheng wasn't around. Kuling said as she pointed at Yun Sheng. Senior sister, how could you? Dongwang Ling was extremely anxious. No wonder Yun Sheng said that she had to be wary of Kuling. This senior sister of hers was indeed not a good person. Dongwang Ling, I had always treated her as a senior sister. It was me who did it. Yesterday, more than 10 of them surrounded me, and Ling, I wasn't willing to accept it. So I went out this morning to teach them a lesson. Yun Sheng didn't deny it. She also knew that her actions couldn't be hidden from the dark gold-ranked instructor. You were beaten up, and you still want to say that you are in the right? You were beaten up because your skills weren't as good as others. The Elder Council will definitely look into this matter. Without the permission of your instructor, you fought in private. You are also a new student, and you don't have any contribution points. You can only be expelled. The dark gold-ranked instructor wasn't able to change the complaint of the dozen or so mentors by himself. You can't expel Yun Sheng. Yesterday, they were the ones who provoked us first. Dark gold-ranked instructor, if you want to expel her, then expel me as well. When Dongwang Ling heard that the dark gold-ranked instructor wanted to expel Yun Sheng, she became anxious. Kuling, on the other hand, was rejoicing in other people's misfortune. She really wanted Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling to be expelled. Yun Sheng, let me ask you, do you admit your mistake? The dark gold-ranked instructor looked at Yun Sheng. I didn't do anything wrong. If I didn't retaliate, there would be a second time. Dark gold-ranked instructor, your disciple has never been a coward. Yun Sheng was unconvinced. Even if she knew that she was going to be expelled, she would still do what she did. Fine, I'll give you a chance. I'll bring you to see the headmaster's Elder Council. If you're able to convince the headmaster's Elder Council, I'll let this matter go. The dark gold-ranked instructor brought Yun Sheng to the Elder Council. Dark gold-ranked instructor, I want to go as well. Dongwang Ling insisted on going as well. The dark gold-ranked instructor was unable to persuade Dongwang Ling. Thus, he could only bring the 2 students who caused trouble to the Elder Council. Yin Sheng, let's see how you're going to die this time. Ling said complacently. Early in the morning, the 5 great elders of the mage elite camp were surrounded by a dozen or so mentors. What exactly is going on? You're saying that a dozen or so senior mages were beaten up by a freshman. The great elder was the oldest among them. His face was also the kindest. Normally, he would be the one to handle all kinds of conflicts in the mage elite camp. After the first elder heard the whole story, he rubbed the space between his eyebrows and felt a headache coming on. Haha, did I hear wrongly? They were actually beaten up by freshmen? How come the freshmen are so valiant these days? I remember that when we first joined the mage elite camp, we had to bow to the seniors and call them senior brothers and sisters. The second elder's temperament was the most straightforward. This might be because he was the only one among the great elders who was a dual cultivator of magic and martial arts. Thus, he still had the typical straightforwardness of a fighter. Sneak attacking someone while they were meditating, that female mage was truly sinister. Seeing the group of female mages who were beaten up, the second elder coughed a few times and held back the laughter in his heart. 2 dark gold-ranked female disciples? Isn't that? The third elder had an unfathomable expression on his face when he heard the news. The 4th elder and the 5th elder were also busy comforting the noisy mentors. Why did it have to be dark gold-ranked students? Chapter 583. In the continent's magic elite camp, there were very few dark magic students to begin with. The great elder was worried that if this continued, Dark Gold's dark magic would be lost. Finally, among the new students last year, there were 2 that could enter Dark Gold's eyes. But now, they were involved in a private fight. The great elder felt that it was a pity. Go and bring Dark Gold and her troublemaker here. The great elder saw that the crowd was angry and had to send someone to bring them here. Who knew that Dark Gold had already brought Yin Sheng and Dongwang Ling are here. Elders. In front of the elders, Dark Gold's teacher was still very respectful. These elders were all the pillars of the continent's magic elite camp. None of them could be underestimated. It was also because of their existence that the continent's magic elite camp was able to enjoy a great reputation in the continent. They were able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the continent's warrior elite camp. Where is the student that hit the other students? Seeing that Dark Gold had arrived, the great elder heaved a sigh of relief. At his age, he was really not used to being surrounded by so many people. Great elder, I was the one that hit them. Yin Sheng walked out with a cute face. When they saw Yin Sheng's appearance, other than the third elder, the other elders all had a look of surprise on their faces. This female mage in front of them had an extraordinary appearance. She looked weak and slender, making it easy for people to have a good impression of her. It was really hard to associate her with a violent female mage that hit people. The great elder still remembered the faces of the female students that were hit just now. TSK, that was called ruthless. Every punch was meant to kill. Their eyes were black, their jaws were dislocated, and their front teeth were all over the floor. That was called fast, ruthless, and accurate. Furthermore, she hit more than 10 of them in one go. Yeah. Is this female student sure that she didn't enter the wrong camp? She should have entered the continent's warrior elite camp. You should know that private fights will result in expulsion. The continent's magic elite camp has the rules of the elite camp. The great elder had a difficult expression. I know, but I didn't mean to provoke them. Yesterday, more than 10 of them surrounded me and Ling. We were both driven to a dead end. They offended me first, so I had to fight back. Yin Sheng wasn't afraid of the first elder. Oh, there was such a thing? What the hell is going on? More than a dozen people besieging 2 students who are only master magicians. This kind of thing actually happened in the continent's magic elite camp. When the great elder heard this, his white beard and hair trembled in anger. The instructors were also dumbfounded. They didn't know that their own student would challenge a dark gold rank disciple first. What the hell is going on? Hurry up and tell us. More than 10 mentors questioned. The two of them are as fickle as water. They went around seducing senior brothers. We couldn't stand by and watch, so we decided to teach them a lesson. The female magicians said in unison as they pointed at Yunsheng and Dongwang Ling. The elders were so angry that they almost vomited blood. What was this? The dignified mage elite camp of the continent actually caused a group brawl because of jealousy. If such a scandal were spread, who knew how many people would laugh their heads off? Nonsense. This is simply a mess. The great elder was so angry that his beard was fluttering. Even so, in yesterday's incident, the two of them were unharmed while our students were seriously injured. Furthermore, the two of them attacked us when no one was paying attention to them. To be so vicious at such a young age, what would happen to them in the future? These two students must be expelled. Although the instructors were feeling guilty when they saw how their students were beaten up, and also when they heard the threat from the Dark Gold Rank Master, all of them felt indignant. No matter what, the two students of the Dark Gold Rank Master were still fine, but all of their students were beaten up badly. Where are they supposed to put their faces? Great Elder, if you want to punish them, the Dark Gold Rank Master has nothing to say. However, if you want to expel my students because of this incident, I don't mind not being a teacher anymore. The Dark Gold Rank Master was also very strong-willed. She directly said that if Yunsheng and Dongwang Ling were to be expelled, she wouldn't be a teacher anymore. Yunsheng and Dongwang Ling didn't expect that the usually cold-blooded and heartless Dark Gold Rank Master would actually side with them like this. Previously, they thought that the Dark Gold Rank Master didn't treat them as her students at all. Dark Gold, you dare to threaten the Great Elder? Don't think that you're so great just because you're the only teacher of the Dark Major. Great Elder, if you don't punish those two students, we will all quit as well. The 10+ instructors were forced into a corner and refused to do anything. Such a situation caused a few elders to be in a difficult position. Just when they were in a deadlock, suddenly, a plop sound could be heard. A female student fell onto the ground. She suddenly started foaming at the mouth, and her entire body started twitching. What happened? Quickly go and get Shi Guang over here. The instructors were all stunned by this scene. The third elder also walked over and checked the condition of the female student. Isn't this the female magician who took the forbidden medicine yesterday? Dongwang Linger recognized the female magician who was unconscious. This student, what did you say just now? What did she take yesterday? The third elder was an outstanding master potioneer. However, he was actually unable to see through the condition of the female mage. She took a forbidden medicine. The name of the medicine and its medicinal properties are unknown. However, after she took the medicine, her strength instantly broke through from Saint Mage to Sky Mage. Yunsheng was also checking the condition of the female mage. What? Forbidden medicine again? How many times have I said that in the continent's magic elite camp, no one is allowed to take forbidden medicine that is privately refined? Just where did that forbidden medicine come from? The third elder flew into a rage. After hearing the third elder's words, Yunsheng roughly guessed that the forbidden medicine that the female mage took was most likely bought through private channels. In the continent, there are many types of magic potions. Most of the magic potions that were refined by famous master potioneers were of high quality. However, those magic potions were very rare. Furthermore, the price of those magic potions were also very high. Ordinary Saint Mage wouldn't have the money to buy those magic potions. Because of this, some illegal magic potioneers would privately refine low-quality magic potions that were not up to standard. The price of those magic potions was very low. However, the corresponding quality was also very difficult to guarantee. Some of those magic potions even had very big side effects. It was very obvious that this female mage bought such a forbidden medicine rashly. After using it, such side effects occurred. Mui, that is your disciple. Where did she get the forbidden medicine from? The third elder stared at the female mage's instructor sternly. Third elder, the female mage's instructor stuttered. I'm also not very clear about it. This student's elder brother went to Skywing City a while ago. It is said that he brought the forbidden medicine back from there. Did it come from outside? After learning that the forbidden medicine was not refined by a student of the camp, the third elder's expression became even more serious. Chapter 584. If the source of the forbidden medicine was from the elite magic camp, they could still find the potion master and ask him about it. However, if it was from Skywing City, they would not be able to figure out the main ingredients of the forbidden medicine in such a short time. Third Elder, is there any way to save this student? The Great Elder saw that the female mage was becoming more and more unconscious. She was breathing in more and out less. It seemed that she was about to die. Without a ready-made potion, I can't analyze it. It's also very difficult for me to determine what she has taken in such a short time. In this situation, we can only let Shiguang take a look. The Third Elder was also helpless. Shiguang was Goofing's mentor. He was also a well-known light mage and was the main healer in the elite magic camp. But very quickly, the instructor who went to pass on the message brought back disappointing news. Yesterday, Mentor Shiguang brought a few students who were about to advance and went out to look for soul stones. As such, it was even more impossible for anyone to cure the forbidden medicine in this female mage's body. Seeing that the elders were all extremely anxious, Yi Zichen felt a chill run down his spine. Perhaps I can help her. Just as everyone was at a loss, Yunsheng suddenly spoke. What did you say? You can help her? Do you know what poison she has in her body? The Third Elder was astonished. How could it be? Yunsheng was only a master magician. Furthermore, she did not know light magic at all. I don't know. Even if I knew, I would not be able to make an antidote in such a short time. However, I can purify the poison in her body with water. As soon as Yunsheng spoke, more than a dozen mentors, including the Third Elder and the Dark Gold mentors, were stunned. You said you know how to purify water? Isn't that the high-level water magic that only the elves know? The elves' magic was unique and could achieve effects similar to light magic. However, it was impossible for ordinary people to come into contact with elven magic. I lived in the Celestial Realm for 3 years and learned water magic. I also know elven magic. Yunsheng looked embarrassed. Yes. She has the purest power of elven water in her body. The power of water can purify the poison in a person's body. Hurry up, or we'll be too late. The Third Elder hurriedly asked Yunsheng to go forward. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Yunsheng began to sing. As she chanted, an alluring figure appeared in front of her. The little water fairy queen appeared in front of everyone. Her perfect face, petite body, and the dense aura of water emanating from her body all indicated that she was indeed a fairy. Naturally, no one could recognize the origin of the little queen. They all thought that this was a special purification spell that Yunsheng had used. The little water fairy queen landed in front of Yunsheng and said a few words to her. The others couldn't understand what Yunsheng and the little water fairy queen were talking about. If they did, they would probably vomit blood. In fact, Yunsheng had yet to learn purification magic. She only knew the most rudimentary healing magic. However, she was not afraid of being exposed because she had the water fairy little queen who had the strongest healing ability in the world. The conversation between Yunsheng and the elf queen was as follows. Little queen, use your water purification magic to purify the effects of the forbidden medicine in her body. Sure, but I want fruit wine. I'll give you a jar. Immediately use the purification magic. Deal. The elf queen was overjoyed and immediately flew to purify the female mage. She flapped her wings, and a light blue water light shrouded the unconscious female mage like a veil. The pure power of water was purifying the effects of the forbidden medicine in the female mage's body. The female mage vomited a mouthful of black liquid, and her complexion quickly recovered. In the eyes of others, it looked like Yunsheng had used a very advanced water magic to heal the female mage. It's really elven magic. Nonsense. You actually want to expel a student who knows elven magic. The First Elder immediately turned from worry to joy. First Elder, actually, I've already noticed this student. Not only does she know elven magic, but she also knows how to refine potions. The Moon Goddess's praise potion was refined by her. The Third Elder took the opportunity to say, Oh, Dark Gold, you've accepted a very good disciple. The First Elder seemed to have forgotten about the fight earlier, not to mention the camp rules and expulsion. Those mentors were also embarrassed to say anything. After all, they couldn't possibly expel someone who had just saved their student's life, right? The dark gold mentor was also puzzled. She had never seen Yunsheng use any water magic before. This lass, isn't she too good at hiding her strength? The first elder muttered to himself for a while. How about this? We still have to give an explanation for the fight this time. Yunsheng, you and Dong Wangling are both in the wrong, and the two of you have to accept the punishment. However, since the two of you were provoked by her, we'll take 50% of the responsibility for the fight this time. With this kind of punishment, do you all accept it? We don't have any objections. The Dark Gold Mentor was afraid that Yunsheng and Dong Wangling wouldn't compromise, so she hurriedly answered for them. We also don't have any objections. The other mentors gritted their teeth and agreed. Even an idiot could tell that the few elders were very biased towards that student called Yunsheng. If it wasn't for the fact that this student was a Dark Gold Mentor, they would have already taken her in as their disciple. At this moment, none of the mentors dared to say that they wanted to expel Yunsheng. If you don't have any objections, then come forward to receive your punishment. The first elder shouted. Yunsheng, Dong Wangling, the other female magicians, and the female magician who had just woken up, all walked forward with a timid expression. The few of you, as seniors of the continent's elite magician camp, listened to the rumors, caused trouble for no reason, and even violated the camp's rules by taking forbidden medicine. According to the rules, each of you will have your blood refinement time increased by 3 months. At the same time, 100 merit points will be deducted. The first elder reprimanded those seniors. When the female magicians heard that, they all complained. 100 merit points were equivalent to a quota to kill 100 blood cloud beast soldiers. Increasing their blood refinement time by 3 months, this punishment was very heavy. Hour more in the Dutian blood beast world was very dangerous. However, with danger came opportunity. This also meant that compared to the other seniors, they would have more chances to kill blood cloud beasts and increase their chances of getting into the magic power rankings. Thank you, First Elder. The female magicians all unwillingly replied. They were seniors, and they could still have their blood refinement time increased. Yunsheng and Dong Wangling listened at the side, and they were also very nervous. They weren't seniors, and they didn't have the qualifications to enter the Dutian blood beast world. What was their punishment? Chapter 585. As for the two of you, leave the Continental Magic Elite Camp now. The great elder's gaze fell on Yunsheng and Dong Wangling. That's not fair. Why are you chasing us away? Dong Wangling was anxious. Linger, listen to the great elder. Yunsheng pulled Dong Wangling. Hee, you two little girls, I'm not chasing you away. You're following me to the Skywings Arena with a group of students who are about to advance, the second elder said with a smile. Every year, there would be some students in the Continental Magic Elite Camp who were about to break through, especially from Saint Mage to Sky Mage, which was the most difficult to break through. Ordinary magic training and meditation could take months or even years to achieve a breakthrough. Therefore, the Continental Magic Elite Camp had a special method to let the students break through. The first method was to let the students enter the Dutian Blood Beast world and fight against commander-level Blood Cloud beasts to break through. However, this method was very dangerous, and many students have lost their lives in the Dutian Blood Beast world because of it. Therefore, unless it was a last resort, the instructors were not willing to let their students use this method. If the first method did not work, then there was a second, safer method, and that was to go to the Skywings Arena, known as the City in the Sky, and participate in the fighting. Although fighting was also very dangerous, the relative casualty rate was much lower than in the Blood Beast world. Moreover, fighting in the arena could earn extra points, which could be exchanged for high rewards and even the glory of the Fighting King. Therefore, most students preferred the second method. However, there were not many opportunities to go to the Skywings Arena. There might only be one batch in a few years. This year, seeing that a group of Saint Mages was about to break through, the second elder proposed to bring a group of outstanding students to Skywing City to train for a year. However, the second elder was troubled by the fact that light mage Guang Shi, who was the best at healing, was not around. He could only find one of Guang Shi's students, Gufeng. Although Gufeng's talent was not bad, he still lacked experience. Therefore, the second elder had always been vexed and wanted to find another magician who could heal. Coincidentally, at this moment, Yun Sheng appeared. Not only did she know how to concoct potions, she also knew how to concoct powerful water healing and essence magic. The second elder was overjoyed. Wasn't this the most suitable candidate for the team's healing magician? The great elder had also thought of this point. That was why he proposed to have Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling follow the second elder's team out. Second elder, the duration of this punishment is a little long, spanning a year. However, Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger are only master magicians. They have yet to learn dark magic systematically. If they were to head to the Skywings arena, I'm afraid the Dark Gold instructor had some doubts. The Dark Gold mentor's words were harsh to the ears of the other mentors. Haha, you don't have to worry about that. I won't let your precious students fight. Their strength is simply not enough. They will only be sending themselves to their deaths if they fight. Their main role is to take care of the senior students who are participating in the competition. They can be substitutes. The second elder waved his hand and replied straightforwardly. The second elder's words dispelled the last bit of doubt in the Dark Gold mentor's mind. The other dozen or so mentors muttered to themselves, TSK, how is this a punishment? Following the team to the Skywings arena would not only increase one's experience, but would also be very beneficial for future breakthroughs. Ordinary freshmen had no right to participate. Rather than calling it a punishment, it would be better to call it a reward. The Great Elder and Second Elder were clearly biased. Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling still didn't know that the two of them had profited from their misfortune and obtained a lucrative job that others envied. The two of them only knew that they didn't need to leave the continent's magic elite camp and could go to the Skywings arena. The worries in their hearts were swept away, and smiles appeared on their faces. The journey to the Skywings arena was long. After Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling confirmed their departure, the Dark Gold mentor led them away. After Yun Sheng and the others left, the elders didn't immediately disperse. There won't be any problems with this arrangement, right? Second elder, are you sure you don't want me to go with you? The third elder had a worried look on his face. What problems can there be? The students we've selected this time are all very strong. Even in the Skywings arena, they won't be inferior. The second elder didn't think much of it. Besides, we've participated in so many competitions in the past, and we've always been fine. In the past, he was there, but this year it's all students. I keep feeling uneasy. Why don't we wait a little longer and go after Shiguang returns? The third elder shook his head. No way. The second elder flatly rejected. I've received news that the Warrior Elite Camp has already selected a dozen or so students to participate in the competition. If their students break through before us, we won't be able to raise our heads in the upcoming blood competition. The continent's elite camp was divided into the Warrior Elite Camp and the Magic Elite Camp. Although both sides were part of the elite camp, they couldn't help but compete in private. The elders' councils on both sides competed in private with a number of new sky mages and martial saints added each year. The number of sky mages and martial saints was the true backbone of the two camps. Mages and warriors of this realm killed the most magical beasts in the Dutian Blood Beast world, and they were also the ones with the most hope of entering the Dutian Blood Beast world to hunt commander-grade magical beasts. Third Elder, you don't need to worry. There shouldn't be too big of a problem. Second Elder, remember that this time, you can't lose to those old fellows in the Warrior Elite Camp. You may be shameless, but I still have my face. The Great Elder seems to be in a good mood. A mage who can use elven magic. When the time comes, the Warrior Elite Camp will definitely be envious. Eldest Elder, don't worry. I've already told those advancing students that whether it's in the individual or group competitions, they have to do their best. If they succeed, our continent's Magic Elite Camp will also be able to bring back the title of King of Combat. The second Elder laughed heartily. The students this time were all very outstanding. The second elder believed that they would definitely achieve good results. That's right. Since we're going to Skywing City, we should also investigate the matter of the forbidden medicine. If there's a chance, it's best to bring back a bottle. The third elder had already asked the female mage who had bought the forbidden medicine. However, after she had consumed the forbidden medicine, she had thrown the bottle into the lake. She only knew that her elder brother had bought that bottle of forbidden medicine in Skywing City. As for who had refined it, she really didn't know. After the elders finished their discussion, they agreed to head to Skywing City on the same day. Chapter 586. You two, this can be considered as a blessing in disguise. As far as I know, the light magician in the team this time is your friend. You two can pass this news to him first and come back later. The dark gold mentor suddenly spoke after leading Yun Sheng and Dongwang linger for a while. Yun Sheng and Dongwang linger also guessed that Goofing should be the light magician in the team. The two also wanted to ask him more about Skywing City, so they simply went to look for Goofing first. The dark gold mentor's face was gloomy as she returned to the thatched cottage first. Inside the thatched cottage, Keling was waiting. Keling didn't see Yun Sheng and Dongwang linger and was secretly happy. She only thought that the two of them had been kicked out of the elite camp. She couldn't wait to go forward. Mentor, the two of them were kicked out of the elite camp. Are you happy that the two of them were kicked out? The dark gold mentor's face was calm. No one could tell whether she was happy or angry. Keling hurriedly said, "How can that be? The two of them were kicked out. I will be very sad." Sad? I think you were happy. Keling, let me ask you, why did you expose the fact that Yun Sheng wasn't in the room? The dark gold mentor reprimanded loudly. Keling had never seen the dark gold mentor so angry before. She knew that something was wrong and hurriedly knelt on the ground. Dark gold mentor, I didn't. I was just afraid that Yun Sheng's matter would implicate you. I was thinking for you. Keling, you were expelled. The dark gold mentor's expression became serious. What? Mentor, what are you saying? The one who made the mistake is Yun Sheng. Why are you kicking me out? Keling didn't expect that the dark gold mentor would suddenly kick her out. She was so scared that her face turned pale. Don't think that I don't know what you have done in the past 5 years. The dark gold mentor looked at Keling coldly. If it wasn't for the master-disciple relationship, she would have already killed Keling. Keling was frightened by the dark gold mentor's appearance. Although it was widely known that the dark gold mentor was a terrifying dark magician, she would never make a move on her own students. Keling knew that if she dared to resist, the dark gold instructor would kill her immediately. Kellen was still unwilling to give up. She had been following her dark gold teacher for 5 years. She had been working hard, pretending to be obedient and respectful to her teacher. She had never made any mistakes. She was about to learn her teacher's arcane magic when she was kicked out. How could she accept this? Teacher, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't done anything, continued Corin. 3 years ago, Lu Hong died in an accident during the first blood purge. 2 years ago, Qin Rual went crazy for no reason. Don't tell me that these people have nothing to do with you. The dark gold instructor was referring to some of the mages under her tutelage in the past few years. None of these people could survive 3 years. Teacher, what happened to them was an accident. Even the elders have investigated it. It has nothing to do with me. Keling still refused to admit it. Keling, if you continue to quibble, do you believe that I won't kill you immediately? All of your magic was taught by me. The dark gold mentor held her magic scepter in anger. Looking at the magic scepter in her teacher's hand, Keling understood that her teacher really knew everything. She knew everything. A sense of shame and hatred rose in Keling's heart. Dark gold. So what if you know? Didn't you connive with me to do all of this? If you didn't stop me, how could I have succeeded? You're the real demon. You made Yun Sheng and Dongwang linger undergo inhumane training. Didn't you also drive them crazy? Didn't you make them go to the arena to turn them into cold-blooded dark magicians? Keling smiled bitterly. I was originally like them. But because of your training, I slowly became cruel and bloodthirsty. It was you who turned me into a ghost. No friends, no humanity. The dark gold minter sighed. Kuling, do you really think that dark magic can make people lose their humanity? The reason why I trained you all was to make your minds more resolute. When you learn true dark magic, you won't be controlled by the murderous heart of dark magic. The reason why I didn't stop those people who died and went crazy in the past was because they couldn't adapt to the cultivation of dark magic. Those who are weak will be eliminated. Even if I don't eliminate them, they will be killed after they enter the blood purge. Although your cultivation is stronger than Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger, you don't have the qualifications to become a dark magician. Leave. Don't force me to make a move. I don't want to see you again. Kuling's complexion turned pale. She didn't expect that the dark gold minter's intention was actually like this. In the past few years, she used all kinds of methods to ostracize the other students. Originally, she thought that no one would know. Unexpectedly, the dark gold minter knew everything. Moreover, all of this was actually a test given by the dark gold minter. Minter, please give me another chance. Seeing that I have served you for so many years, please give me another chance. This time, I won't play any tricks in secret. I will get along well with Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger. I swear, if I play any tricks again, let my soul be destroyed and die a horrible death. Kuling begged. Her talent was originally very good, and she was also chosen by the dark gold minter from countless students to be the most suitable person to learn dark magic. Why would the dark gold minter want to chase her away? The most vicious oath a magician could make was to have their soul destroyed. For Kuling to say such words, she might really have the heart to repent. The dark gold minter pondered for a moment. In the end, she didn't harden her heart. All right, then I will give you another chance. During this time, Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger will follow the second elder to the Skywings arena. Take care of yourself. The dark gold minter sighed and no longer paid attention to Kuling, who was kneeling on the ground. Only after the dark gold minter left did Kuling raise her head. She found it hard to believe that the two of them hadn't been chased out of the continent's magic elite camp and had even received the opportunity to go to the Skywings arena with the second elder. Kuling was immediately stunned. She originally didn't have the slightest bit of guilt in her heart, but now hatred and jealousy were crazily growing. As a senior student, she had never had the opportunity to go to the Skywings arena for a full 5 years. Every student who came back from the Skywings arena would improve by leaps and bounds. Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger don't think that you will have it easy. Wait and see. When it is time for blood purge, I will have plenty of chances to make you die a horrible death, Kuling muttered. Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger had already found Gufeng. When Gufeng heard that Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger were going to accompany him, he immediately opened his mouth and told the two about Skywing City in detail. Chapter 587. Haha, that's great. Yun Sheng. Our 13 potion teams have merged again. There's also Ling Er. We're all together again. Abandon is also among the students who broke through this time. Although Gufeng, Yun Sheng, and the others were all in the continent's magic elite camp, they didn't run into each other often due to their different mentors. In order not to worry them, Yunxing didn't tell them that Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling had been surrounded earlier. The continent's magic elite camp implemented a typical elite education, which was a small class system with small mentors. Each mentor's training method was different, and the training places and patterns arranged were also different. Therefore, Yun Sheng, Gufeng, and the others might run into each other when participating in the blood purge. It was very difficult for them to run into each other. Therefore, when Gufeng learned that Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling were also heading to Skywing City, he was overjoyed. Yun Sheng didn't expect that Abandon would be among the students who broke through this time. You're saying that Abandon is also about to advance, and he's about to become a sky magician? This news surprised Yun Sheng. She, Gufeng, and Abandon had joined the Royal Magic Academy at the same time. At that time, Yun Sheng and Abandon's cultivation were about the same. Even the speed of their advancement was about the same. Gufeng was slightly inferior, but now Yun Sheng was still a saint magician, and on the surface, she was only a master magician. Yet, Abandon was already breaking through to become a sky magician. This inevitably made Yun Sheng somewhat depressed. But fortunately, the person who broke through was Abandon, so Yun Sheng let it go. Gufeng, tell us about the Skywings Arena. Didn't you say that only sky magicians or martial grandmasters and above can enter the Skywings Arena? Compared to Yun Sheng, Dong Wang Ling was really just incidental. Right now, she only wanted to know what was going on with the world-famous Skywing Arena. Because of his mentor, this wasn't the first time Gufeng had gone to the Skywings Arena with the team. In his second year in the Continental Magic Elite Camp, he had already gone once, but that time he had gone with his mentor. Including this year, this was the third time he had gone there. And Yun Sheng was also very curious about the Skywings Arena. This was because she had once heard Feng Kuo mention that the Skywings Arena was the place where her parents had met. Her father, Yun Songhai, had even almost become the king of fighters of the Skywings Arena. After Gufeng's explanation, only then did Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger know that one could enter the Skywings Arena by flying or by taking a spaceship. Not only that, but the most attractive part of the Skywings Arena isn't just that. When you get there, you'll know. Gufeng was now very pleased with himself. He had finally gotten this opportunity to show off in front of Yin Sheng and Dongwang Linger, so he had to take the opportunity to show off. Then we'll go back and prepare. Right, Gufeng, this is the meditation water I've just refined. Its effect is twice as good as the previous meditation water. Take a few bottles with you. We'll meet again when we set off in a few days. Yin Sheng and Dongwang Linger bid farewell to Gufeng. A few days later, Yin Sheng and Dongwang Linger, along with the second elder and a dozen or so carefully selected magicians, set off for the Skywings Arena. To Yin Sheng's surprise, she also saw Chunlian in the queue. How could it be you? You don't have the qualifications to enter the Skywings Arena. Chunlian saw Yun Sheng. What a joke. Whether I have the qualifications or not, it's not up to you to decide. Dongwang Linger stuck out her tongue. She had already inquired about Chunlian's background from Yun Sheng, and she felt that Chunlian's conduct was very shameless. Don't be so pleased with yourself. You're just magicians accompanying the team. Yun Sheng, if you dare to do anything to me again, I'll definitely let you die very miserably. This time, no one will be able to help you. Chunlian was like a proud peacock as she took the lead to board the spaceship with a few other magicians. Who would have thought that Chunlian would also be advancing? How could her cultivation advance so quickly? Yun Sheng couldn't help but feel suspicious. Yin Sheng, don't mind her. When she gets injured in the arena, she'll be crying and begging us. Gufeng spat at Chunlian's back. Chunlian's growth in the past few years was indeed very rapid. Especially last year, after she got acquainted with a few male magicians who were in the top 100 of the overall leaderboard, they entered the central region of the Duqian Blood Beast world together. After returning, her strength suddenly increased by a lot. Who knew what exactly she encountered in the central region of the Blood Beast world? With the two of us here, she won't dare to do anything. The spaceship is just ahead. She walked beside Yin Sheng. The moment he appeared, he attracted the admiring gazes of many female magicians. There were even some female magicians who specially came to send them off. Senior Brother Chi, I wish you success. Senior Brother Chi is looking at me. She then looked at Chi, whose face was stupefied. Yin Sheng was really impressed that he could still maintain his composure. Hua! Dongwang Linger exclaimed. An empty spaceship appeared in front of them. It was an empty spaceship that was very similar to a modern Dao. The entire spaceship was painted with magic paint that was used to defend against low to mid-level magic attacks. The spaceship was of medium size and had a beautiful triangular bee skin sail. Under the sunlight, the deck shone as if it was waxed. This spaceship that could accommodate more than 30 people at the same time was the second elder's most prized private spaceship, Windride. On the Boundless Continent, the cost of building an empty spaceship was no less than 1,000,000 gold coins. Only a small number of wealthy magicians and warriors could own one. The second elder didn't have a family, so he treated this empty spaceship as his family. Usually, his greatest interest was to take the spaceship for a stroll around. Usually, students wouldn't be able to board this spaceship. Yunsheng and Dongwang Linger were amazed and envious. Both of them thought that a flying beast was already very advanced, but compared to this beautiful wind ride, the second elder's nouveau riche temperament was completely exposed. Every time I board the spaceship, I think to myself that I don't know if I'll ever have the chance to own a spaceship like this in my lifetime. This spaceship speed is really fast. Even the fastest eagle-type flying beast on the continent can't catch up to this spaceship, Goofing lamented. Compared to female magicians, male magicians yearn for spaceships even more. Yinsheng also thought to herself that if she had the chance, it wouldn't be a bad idea to buy a spaceship. After boarding the spaceship, there were already quite a few people standing on the deck. This time, the second elder had originally brought 11 people to the Skywing Arena. Among them, Yinsheng recognized 3, Gufeng, Qi, and Chunlian. Of these 3, apart from Gufeng, the other 2 had made especially obvious progress in this year. As for the remaining 9 people, they were all outstanding members of the continent's magic elite camp. Chapter 588. Chunlianer. 1 female mage and 2 male mages stood together. According to Gufeng, the 4 of them were a small team, and when they entered the Dutian blood beast world, they had all advanced and retreated together. The remaining 5 mages were split into groups of 2 and 3. Yinsheng also saw another familiar face, and that was from the continent's magic elite camp. Other than Yunsheng, the star marker student, Feng Tian. Feng Tian was still the same, ignoring everyone. When they saw Gufeng come up, a few people nodded at Gufeng. Gufeng was a light mage, and most mages were happy to make friends with light mages, because light mages were especially useful in battle. As for Abandon, he was a popular candidate on the Primrose list, and most people knew him. Only Yunsheng and Dongwang Linger were unfamiliar faces, but everyone could still recognize them at a glance, especially Yunsheng. At a glance, they could tell that her magic cultivation wasn't high. Bringing a master mage with him to the Heaven's Wings arena? What exactly was the second elder planning? When the second elder saw that the others were all puzzled, he coughed a few times to attract everyone's attention. Everyone, pay attention. This time, 2 more people will be joining our team. They are Yinsheng and Dongwang Linger. They will be joining us as substitutes. Their main role is to support Gufeng and help everyone with some magic healing. When the second elder said this, most people's hostility toward Yunsheng and Dongwang Linger dissipated a little. No one paid any more attention to Yunsheng and Dongwang Linger. Anyway, it was fine as long as they didn't drag them down. Before we set off, I'll announce one more thing on behalf of the Great Elder. In this trial, students who can successfully break through will get a chance to learn high-level magic. The second elder's words made the students who were already excited and ready to set off even more motivated. High-level magic was something that could only be encountered by chance. Yunsheng and Dongwang Linger immediately pricked up their ears. Second elder, if we break through, will we also have a chance to learn advanced magic? Yunsheng seized the opportunity to ask, even if the 2 of you broke through, would you be able to learn high-level magic if I gave you the chance? Chun Lianer and the magicians beside her sneered. It's up to us whether or not we'll be able to learn it. However, second elder, you must treat all of us equally and give us equal opportunities. Dongwang Ling also took the opportunity to request. Wishful thinking. 2 pieces of trash want to learn high-level magic? Chun Lianer sneered. Dongwang Linger glared at Chun Lianer. Yinsheng was afraid that Dongwang Ling and Donghuang Ling would get into a conflict. Therefore, she wanted to go forward and pull Dongwang Ling back. As they pulled, Yunsheng and Chun Lianer collided. The moment the 2 collided, Yunsheng suddenly felt a subtle feeling. This feeling? Yunsheng was flabbergasted. This wasn't the first time she felt this feeling. Within the beast speech ring, the summoning hand let out a chant. This voice could only be heard by Yunsheng. Last time, when she encountered the immortal Holy Grail, she also remembered having this feeling. However, compared to last time, the feeling this time was somewhat different. Could it be that Chen Lianer also had an 8 Baron Divine artifact? Yin Sheng decided to take advantage of the fact that there was no one around to call out the little queen and ask her about it. She lived in the immortal Holy Grail all year round, so she should be somewhat familiar with the 8 Baron Divine artifact. However, where did Chen Lianer's 8 Baron Divine artifact come from? Last time, when she saw her, she clearly didn't have this feeling. Yin Sheng started her journey to the Heaven's Wings arena with a stomach full of questions. The Wind Rider slowly rose. When the ship rose to a height of about 500 to 600 meters, a magic array appeared above the ship. This was a large-scale wind magic array. Under its effect, the ship's speed increased by several times. After flying to a height of about 10,000 meters, the only thing left in the surroundings was a vast expanse of white clouds. The second elder ordered all the members. The journey to the Heaven's Wings arena will take about 10 days of flying. During this time, without my permission, no one is allowed to leave the ship. 2 people will share a cabin. If you're interested, you can stay on the deck. The scenery at a high altitude is pretty good, especially for wind mages. The wind magic element in this area is very abundant. This was the first time Dongwang Linger had been to such a high altitude. Accompanied by Gufeng, she was full of interest as she admired the scenery at high altitudes. Yin Sheng was anxious to find out the secret on Chen Lianer's body, so she didn't stay any longer and returned to her cabin. Upon returning to her cabin, Yin Sheng noticed that there was a small magic array in the cabin. The effect of the student's cultivation on the ship was much better than on land. If it weren't for the fact that she didn't have enough money, Yin Sheng really wanted to buy one to play with. Little Queen, hurry up and come out. Yin Sheng wasn't in the mood to meditate. She summoned the Little Queen. With a flash of blue light, the Little Queen appeared. It was just that her appearance this time made Yin Sheng feel that it was very funny. The Little Queen, who was only the size of a butterfly, was hugging a wine jug that was 10 times her height and drinking until her whole body was red. Her whole body reeked of alcohol, and she even burped from time to time. She was drunk. Little Queen, just now on the deck among the 10 or so people, did you notice anyone with the smell of an Octoterra artifact? Yin Sheng didn't dare to confirm whether or not Chen Lianer had an Octoterra artifact on her, but Chen Lianer's speed of magic improvement was indeed a bit abnormal. Burp. The Little Queen let out a loud burp, squinting her cute big eyes. I didn't. She hemmed and hawed, which made Yin Sheng very anxious. It's not complete. After saying a few words, the Little Queen couldn't hold on anymore. She swayed and fell from midair with the wine jug. Fortunately, Yin Sheng's eyes were sharp and her hand were fast enough to catch her. This little fellow had completely fallen into a deep sleep because of her excessive drinking. Yin Sheng had a headache and could only put her into the Ling Long Beast Pagoda. Yin Sheng sat down in the cabin. She recalled the Little Queen's words just now. Yes, but also no, incomplete. What he meant was that Chen Lianer really did have one of the 8 Baron God artifacts. Based on the reactions of the Summoning Hand and the Little Queen, that artifact was very likely not complete. Chen Lianer had obtained a part of the divine artifact due to luck. But which part was it exactly? How did she get it? Chen Lianer was in the mainland's magic elite camp. The only chance for her to obtain the Octoterra artifact was probably... Yin Sheng remembered that Gufeng once said that Chen Lianer had entered the middle area of the Duqian Blood Beast world a while ago. It was very likely that the incomplete artifact was obtained from the middle area of the Duqian Blood Beast world. Yin Sheng secretly thought that no matter what, she had to think of a way to get the incomplete artifact from Chen Lianer. Just as Yin Sheng was thinking, she suddenly felt the empty ship shake violently. This feeling was as if the ship had crashed into something. Chapter 589. The airship that Yun Sheng and the others were on was the second elder's treasure. He had set up a threefold defensive magic array around the airship. Yun Sheng had never been to the Imperial prison, but the airship's defense was definitely comparable to the Imperial prisons of the 5 great nations. It was difficult for the people inside to get out, and even harder for the people outside to break in. Moreover, the airship had already entered a high-speed flight stage. At an altitude of 10,000 meters, the air was thin, and flying magical beasts below the 6th rank couldn't fly in this area. Could it be that the airship had encountered some extremely powerful magical beast? Yin Sheng, it's not good. Dong Wang Linger hurriedly ran in. Yin Sheng hurriedly ran out of the cabin. The other students resting in the cabins also ran out one after another. The deck was already full of people. Yin Sheng squeezed through the crowd, and the second elder stood at the front with an angry look on his face. Looking outside the airship, Yin Sheng immediately realized what had happened. Elder Hellion, we're really fated to meet each other like this. The one who spoke was a middle-aged man who looked to be in his 40s. He had a lion's mouth and looked very dignified. Behind Elder, you were a dozen or so young martial artists. There were both men and women among the young martial artists, and all of them looked heroic and cool. The dookie wings on their backs were very eye-catching. Looking at their clothes, it was clear that they were from the other side of the continent's elite camp, the warrior elite camp. This time, the warrior elite camp also had several students on the verge of breaking through, so their third elder, Yu Pujuan, personally led a team to the Skywings arena. But unlike the warrior elite camp, Yu Pujuan's team didn't take the airship. This wasn't to say that Elder Yu was poorer than Elder Hellion and couldn't even afford a decent airship. The truth was that Elder Yu had given up the comfortable airship and chose to fly to the Skywings arena in order to train the students of the warrior elite camp. Yu Pujuan had requested that the team fly together for more than 10 days, with only an hour of rest in the middle. The rest of the time, they had to travel day and night. Whether it was intentional or not, Yu Pujuan's team met Second Elder's empty ship in this way. Although Elder Hellion was already cursing in his heart, he could not help but be shocked when he saw the neat group of cultivators behind Elder Yu. It was said that the continent's warriors' elite camp trained hard. Now that he had seen it for himself, he knew that it was true. Flying at high altitudes for more than 10 days seemed easy, but it was actually very difficult. Not to mention the wind and sun. Just flying at high altitudes, especially at an altitude of 10,000 meters, the astral winds were as ferocious as tigers, capable of tearing apart bull. In addition, they had to travel day and night, and they might encounter ferocious, flying magical beasts. These difficulties were enough to make people shrink back. Elder Hellion did not dare to let his team members fly like this. Martial artists were different from magicians. As long as a martial artist reached the level of a martial arts grandmaster, he would be able to transform his fighting aura into wings and fly in the air. Did that mean that the other party's team this time were all experts at the level of a martial arts grandmaster? Elder Hellion could not help but look behind Elder Yu. On the magic airship, the other team members were also looking at the warriors behind Elder Hellion with hostility. These young warriors were all very skilled. In the air, they did not panic, and their gazes were firm. In the team, there was one person who attracted the most attention. There was a type of person who could attract everyone's attention, even in a crowd of 10,000 people. On the magic airship, the eyes of all the female magicians lit up when they saw that person, especially Chun Liener. When she saw Yi Baiming, there was a hint of fanaticism in her eyes. Yi Baiming was wearing a martial artist's black robe today. The astral winds at high altitudes caused his robe to flutter. His black hair and sculpted features were all shocking. He was just standing there quietly, but he was like a god, unshakable. Yin Sheng saw Yi Baiming in the team at a glance. When she saw Yi Baiming, Yin Sheng's mind immediately recalled the day when he hit her on the tree, and her lips could not help but feel numb. When she thought of that scene, Yin Sheng's face turned red. Yi Baiming's gaze passed through the crowd and landed on Yin Sheng. When their gazes collided, it was as if there were flames rubbing against each other, bursting with scorching heat. Yin Sheng felt as if she was going to be swallowed by his gaze alone. Yin Sheng quickly turned her head away. She was originally a little angry at Yi Baiming. Her current state of mind was very much like a fit of pique. However, when Yin Sheng looked away, Yi Baiming was not going to let it go. His pair of phoenix eyes were fixed on Yin Sheng. No matter what the elders said, he turned a blind eye to the gazes of the people around him. The other warriors in the team, including Elder Yu, realized that something was not right. Yi Baiming was a very special existence in the continent's elite warrior camp. His talent was without a doubt astonishing. As long as he learned any battle technique, he would definitely be able to comprehend it. It was just that this kid was naturally lazy, or rather, he was very cold. No matter if it was the other students, or his teacher, or the great elder of the continent's elite warrior camp, he was always cold and indifferent. As for his cultivation, it was even more unfathomable. It seemed to be hovering between martial great master and martial saint. However, he was unwilling to break through to martial saint. Usually, when he finished his normal training, he would disappear without a trace. He would either hide in some tree to sleep or go to the pub to drink and daydream. His way of doing things was obviously very different from the continent's elite warrior camp. Think about it. Other people would train to death and still not be able to learn a single battle technique. Not only did he learn it well, he also liked to be lazy. Furthermore, he was very popular with the female students. Wherever he went, he would always attract a group of female student screams and adoring gazes. After a long time, some of the older students of the elite camp, especially the few male students who were also disciples of the Great Elder, could not bear it any longer. After some discussion, they decided to teach Yi Baiming a lesson. However, the end result of the encirclement was that Yi Baiming still had that handsome face of his and continued to be his lazy and cool handsome self. Those senior martial brothers of the martial saint level had their limbs all broken and were wrapped up like mummies. They had to lie in bed for a full half a month. Since then, Yi Baiming had become a taboo in the continent's elite warrior camp. No one dared to provoke him. His teacher, the great elder of the continent's elite warrior camp, Guei Yu, would always test his disciple. Baiming, are you about to break through to martial saint? Yi Baiming always said not interested. Even towards his own teacher, Yi Baiming did not give him much face. Did you understand? What he meant was that he was not interested in breaking through to martial saint, not that he could not break through. Chapter 590. Just like that, 3 years passed. This time, when Elder Yu learned that the Continental Magic Elite Camp was going to Skywings Arena to participate in a breakthrough, he immediately selected a dozen or so students who were on the verge of breaking through to go together. His original intention was to compete with the Continental Magic Elite Camp, but who would have thought that one day, before they set off, handsome Eli would suddenly find his mentor. Mentor, this disciple is about to break through and has decided to go to the Skywings Arena with Elder Yu. These words were quite impressive, and the implication was that he had decided to lower himself and accompany Elder Yu to Skywing City to break through. Wow! Elder Ghost Warden's eyes were brimming with tears. His precious disciple was finally willing to break through. What the hell was this? Without another word, the Great Elder included Yi Baiming in the Skywings Arena's list this time. That was the reason why they met today. The third Elder followed Yi Baiming's gaze and quickly discovered that the focus of Yi Baiming's gaze was a female mage. That female mage had her head lowered at this moment, like an ostrich burying its head, refusing to raise it even if beaten to death. With her head lowered, the third elder couldn't see what that female mage looked like. Elder Hellion also noticed, and with a suspicious expression, his gaze shifted back and forth between Yi Baiming and Yun Sheng. Chun Liana gnashed her teeth in hatred. Yun Sheng, isn't that Lord Baiming up there? Goofing was still somewhat puzzled. Weren't Yun Sheng and Lord Baiming engaged? Why was Yun Sheng acting like she didn't want strangers to get close to her? Could it be that the young couple had a conflict? Seeing this, she felt a little upset. Dong Wang Linger could be considered the one who didn't understand the situation the most. She recognized Yi Baiming. This person was on par with Tang Yuan and Li Xiao on the Primrose list, but from everyone's tone, he seemed to have a deep relationship with Yun Sheng. Goofing, what does that person have to do with Yun Sheng? Why is he staring at Yun Sheng? Dong Wang Linger's soul of a gossipy girl was burning. Didn't Yun Sheng tell you? I know. She must be embarrassed. That person is Lord Biming. He was originally Yun Sheng's retainer and Yun Sheng's fiancé. Before he could finish the word husband, Gufeng's foot was heavily stepped on. Ouch! Yun Sheng, why did you step on me? Gufeng jumped up and hugged his feet. Gufeng, believe it or not, I'll sew your mouth shut with a needle. Yun Sheng snorted, turned her head, and returned to the cabin. Is that fiancé? Dong Wangling was puzzled. I'm not going to say anymore. Boo-hoo. Yun Sheng's needle technique is very scary. Gufeng hugged his feet and didn't dare to say anymore. In the sky, Yi Biming's gaze followed Yun Sheng, who ran into the cabin in a fit of pique. Only then did he retract his gaze. After retracting his gaze, Yi Biming turned back into the cold Yi Biming. Since Dong Wangling wasn't able to get anything out of Gufeng, she could only return to the cabin to rest. When she returned to the cabin, Dong Wangling discovered that Yun Sheng was already meditating. Without any other choice, Dong Wangling could only sit down cross-legged and rest. Night fell, and the airship slowed down. Yun Sheng woke up from her meditation. Looking at the water clock, she discovered that it was already the third watch period. It was the darkest time of the day. However, Yun Sheng's heart was in a mess. She wasn't able to calm down. Thus, she quietly left the cabin. Inside the airship, it was completely silent. Most likely, everyone was meditating and resting during this hour. Yun Sheng walked to the deck. There were no traces of the mainland's warriors' elite camp anymore. They should have stopped and reorganized. Yun Sheng sighed lightly. Today, she had lost her composure. Not to mention anything else, just by looking at Yi Biming, the calmness in her heart was broken by his gaze. This was already extremely unusual. What exactly was going on with her? Yi Biming, her fiancé. When they were engaged, she didn't feel anything. However, recently, especially when they met again for the first time after 3 years, everything changed. She was unable to face Yi Biming calmly. As for him, towards her, the more she thought about it, the more confused she became. Yun Sheng walked to the bow of the airship, wanting to borrow the wind to calm her mind. Around midnight, the sky was quiet and the starry sky was silent. Only a few bright spots appeared in the east of the sky. Yun Sheng's thoughts calmed down. She felt a strong dark magic power. Yun Sheng couldn't help but be curious. Dark magic power was one of the rarest magic powers in the continent. When she was meditating on the ground, it was very difficult to find a trace of magic power. However, at this moment, she was 10,000 meters up in the night sky. She could actually acutely feel the active dark magic power. Yun Sheng's Dharma soul in her body let out a carefree moan. Looking closely, Yun Sheng quickly discovered the source of this dark magic power. In the dark night sky, the 10,000-meter-strong wind was blowing fiercely. This kind of strong wind was mixed with strong wind elements. Other than that, there was also a large amount of dark magic power. This kind of strong wind was actually a rare combination of dark magic power and wind power. It was a special magic wind. This kind of magic wind, compared to the normal wind in nature, was several times more powerful. Its destructive power was also very shocking. A strange thought appeared in Yun Sheng's mind. Could it be that dark magic power and wind power were fused together to form a magic wind blade? What would the effect be like? Yun Sheng immediately took action. She meditated for a moment and realized that she had absorbed a large amount of dark magic power. Not only that, when she raised her hand slightly, she realized that she could easily control the dark magic power. Dark magic power, among all the magic elements, including the 4 elements of nature and all the elements of life, was the most difficult to control. Yun Sheng was ecstatic. She didn't know when it started, but her control of magic power had improved so much. After thinking for a moment, Yun Sheng suddenly understood that all of this was due to the Dark Gold Minter's alternative training. After Yun Sheng joined the continent's magic elite camp, she hadn't systematically learned dark magic. The Dark Gold Minter didn't explain the reason. She only said that it wasn't the right time. She only asked Yun Sheng and the rest to repeatedly practice their accuracy, magic control, hit rate, and other seemingly insignificant skills. But tonight, Yunsheng suddenly realized that the Dark Gold Mentor's training over the past 1.5 years had come into play tonight. Her training allowed her to control the dark magic power, which was the most difficult magic power to control. Practice makes perfect. The way a warrior improved his combat skills was by constantly practicing. It was the same for mages. The Dark Gold Mentor's education method was not to teach you dark magic directly. Instead, they let the students familiarize themselves with the control of magic power and understand it on their own. They could even learn new spells. Chapter 591. When Yunsheng realized this, the ecstasy in her heart surged like a raging tide. Without any hesitation, Yunsheng immediately summoned the puffed egg. After fusing with it, she left the airship. In the cabin, Elder Hellion was meditating. The second elder would never have thought that someone would be able to break through his 3 layers of magic restriction without him noticing. After leaving the airship, Yunsheng wandered in the air. The surroundings were dead silent. During this hour, even high-level flying magical beasts that were used to traveling at night were hard to find. Relying on the sensitivity of a summoner, Yunsheng quickly found a cliff. Here, a group of level 8 owls had set up their nest. Once they sensed that there was an enemy outside, the group of owls flew out in a hurry. This was a type of magical beast that had committed all kinds of evil. Its body was about 1 meter long, and its sharp beak and claws were its greatest weapons. Usually, it liked to attack the mountain villages where humans lived and capture humans and livestock for food. Yunsheng looked over and saw that there were no less than 30 of them. Consider yourselves unlucky. I'll let you be the first batch of experimental subjects for my self-created dark magic. Yunsheng chanted, and the owls pounced on Yunsheng. Not far away, a figure approached like a ghost. It was different from the rest of the students in the warriors' elite camp who rested on the ground at night. Yibiming was meditating in the air a moment earlier. Suddenly, he felt an aura leave the airship like an arrow. He was very familiar with that aura. It was the aura of Little Wildcat. Why did Little Wildcat leave the airship during this hour? Out of worry for Yunsheng, Yibiming followed her. Who knew that Yunsheng would actually find the nest of the owls? Yibiming could not help but tremble with fear. There were more than 30 owls, but Yunsheng actually came alone. The most ridiculous thing was that Little Wildcat deliberately attracted all the owls. Just as he was about to help, a strange scene occurred. A gust of dark wind suddenly appeared beside Yunsheng. Countless wind blades gathered around her and rolled her into a ball. With Yibiming's keen senses, he immediately realized that the black wind was unusual. Nature's wind elements, including wind blades, were all green. However, the wind blades that erupted from Yunsheng's body were all black and green. Compared to ordinary wind blades, they were denser and more powerful. The black ball of wind was like an airtight shield, perfectly protecting Yunsheng. Break! With a shout, the black and green wind balls suddenly exploded. Countless black wind blades, like hundreds of chaotic blades, crazily slashed at the surrounding vultures. In the blink of an eye, dozens of vultures were killed by the terrifying black wind ball. In the sky, countless eagle feathers fluttered in the wind. Yibiming was shocked. What kind of magic was this? Such frightening, destructive power. Looking at Yunsheng again, her expression was also very surprised. It seemed that even she herself didn't realize what she had just done. A new magic? It seemed that the little wildcat had made great progress in the past year. She was gradually beginning to understand the true essence of dark magic. Yibiming didn't disturb Yunsheng, who was still immersed in great surprise and shock, and quietly disappeared into the night. Only a true dark magician would know that the true essence of dark magic was actually fusion. It could fuse all kinds of magic, dark magic. Really too powerful. Yunsheng muttered to herself. She didn't think that after dark magic fused with wind magic, it would have such a frightening power. Compared to before, she felt that dark magic was much easier to control. Yunsheng didn't think much about it. Looking at the time, it was already late. She immediately retreated. If the second elder were to find out that she left the airship, she would most likely be punished. Although Yun Sheng hadn't completely fused with dark magic, she already faintly understood the benefits of fusing dark magic with other magic. After Yun Sheng returned to the cabin, Dongwang Linger still hadn't woken up from her meditation. Yun Sheng sat down and used meditation to recover some of her magic. She was thinking, if wind magic could fuse with dark magic, does that mean that other magic elements can also fuse with dark magic? Just as she was thinking, Dongwang Linger woke up. She looked at Yun Sheng, then immediately came over with a face full of energy. Tell me the truth. What is your relationship with Lord Biming? Yun Sheng had a headache. I knew that this lass loved to gossip. She shrugged her shoulders and said, He is my fiancé. Ah, you actually have a fiancé? Furthermore, he is a prince of Zhou State. Dongwang Linger was astonished. However, after thinking for a bit, Dongwang Linger understood. Although Yun Sheng didn't say it, Dongwang Linger had always felt that Yun Sheng wasn't a girl that was raised by an ordinary family. From the way she talked and the aura she gave off, she definitely came from a big family. There were a lot of big families that would arrange marriages and such. Dongwang Linger only thought that Yun Sheng and Yi Biming were also the product of a marriage bestowed upon them. Then, what about senior marshal brother Qi? Dongwang Linger felt that it was a pity. What does that have to do with Qi? Yun Sheng had a confused look on her face. Dongwang Linger rolled her eyes. Yun Sheng is the one that is the most obtuse. Didn't she realize that senior marshal brother Qi likes her? What about you? Gufeng is a good person, and he likes you a lot. Yun Sheng asked. Gufeng, Dongwang Linger, and Qi were all Yun Sheng's companions. They were also her true friends after coming to the boundless world. To Yun Sheng, the three of them were very important people. Yun Sheng didn't wish to hurt any of them because of her relationship. It wasn't that she didn't know that Qi was good to her. It was just that with just Yi Biming, she already had a headache dealing with him. It was better for her and Qi to maintain a simple relationship of companions. Hearing that, Dongwang Linger's face blushed. She angrily pinched Yun Sheng's arm and said, What are you talking about? What relationship do I have with that big blockhead? Gufeng is a very good person. Although he didn't come from a good family, he is considerate and kind-hearted. He is definitely the right person for you. Yun Sheng had never seen Gufeng being so good to any woman before. Towards Dongwang Linger, he would do his best. He wasn't a person that was good with words. Although he liked Dongwang Linger, he had never truly confessed to her. As for Dongwang Linger, her reaction towards Gufeng was also very special. Initially, she didn't like Gufeng. She despised him for being dull and not having a good appearance. However, as time passed, her impression of Gufeng also changed. I can't accept him. Dongwang Linger's eyes suddenly turned red, and she looked as if she was about to cry. Chapter 592. Why? Yun Sheng was shocked. Because of my identity, Dongwang Linger said sadly. Ling, you can't be like them, having a prejudice against family background, right? Yun Sheng was somewhat annoyed. She was from the modern era, and she looked down on this kind of secular concept of marriage. She had always felt that Dongwang Linger wasn't that kind of person. No, you misunderstood what I meant. It's not that I dislike Gufeng. It's just that the two of us aren't suitable for each other. You should know what kind of identity I have. Although I look very dignified on the outside, being the princess of the East Imperial Dynasty, it's just an empty title. I'm more like a puppet. No matter if it's my own marriage or my own future, to put it bluntly, it's not up to me to decide. Dongwang Linger had a sorrowful expression on her face. Since that's the case, you can still fight for it. Just like this time, didn't you also come to the continent's magic elite camp because Yun Sheng still wanted to persuade her? Dongwang Linger smiled bitterly. Actually, I lied to you and the dark old class teacher. This time, I came to the continent's magic elite camp secretly because I wanted to escape from my marriage. Escape from marriage? Yun Sheng obviously didn't expect that Dongwang Linger actually escaped from her marriage. She then thought about Dongwang Linger's age and immediately understood. Dongwang Linger was older than Yun Sheng by half a year. In a few more months, she would be 14 years old. In the boundless continent, 14 years old was already the age where one could become a mother. In ancient times, there wasn't much entertainment. Once the sky turned dark, people would play games like playing in bed. It wasn't rare for a 14-year-old to become a mother in the boundless continent. For a woman from the boundless continent like Dongwang Ling, 14 years old was already considered old. However, due to Dongwang Ling special identity, she never got married. Until 1.5 years ago, the left prime minister of the eastern capital suddenly wrote a letter saying that the later Qin's Dark Crown Prince wanted to marry Dongwang Ling. Dark Crown Prince? When Yunsheng heard Dugu Xiu's name, the corner of her mouth couldn't help but twitch. Dugu Xiu proposed? He's not a good match. Yunsheng imagined Dugu Xiu's fiery temper and Dongwang Ling's unruly temper. If the two of them were to live together, they would definitely fight nonstop every day. Furthermore, with Dongwang Ling's temperament, she would definitely not be able to tolerate the Dark Crown Prince being such a playboy. You know him too. Later Qin's Dark Crown Prince, Dugu Xiu. This person's name is known by everyone in the continent. He is a devil who kills people without batting an eyelid. It is said that he didn't even bat an eyelid when killing the concubines of the later Qin emperor. The reason for that was because those concubines were noisy. When Dongwang Ling talked about this marriage, she was extremely unwilling in her heart. Not only that, I also heard that Dugu Xiu's appearance is very ugly. He has the head of an ox, the face of a horse, and triangular eyes. How can I marry such a person? Cough, cough. Actually, he's not that unbearable. No matter what, he is still one of the 5 extremes and 5 walls. Within the Wuji 5 walls, every single one of them is a handsome man with an outstanding appearance. His appearance is still barely acceptable. Although Yun Sheng didn't like Dugu Xiu, she couldn't directly discredit him. Although Dugu Xiu was a bit unreasonable and a bit sinister, his appearance was indeed a handsome man filled with masculinity. Even when compared to Yi Baiming, he was only a bit uglier. Yun Sheng didn't realize that subconsciously, the scales in her heart had already tilted towards Yi Baiming. No matter if he is handsome or ugly or not, it's impossible for me to marry the crown prince of later Qin. However, when later Qin became powerful, they bribed the left prime minister. The left prime minister and the civil and military officials forced mother and imperial brother to agree to this marriage. Dongwang Ling was a descendant of the Eastern Imperial Dynasty. She didn't have a good impression of the current 5 major countries. When the Eastern Imperial Dynasty was split, the first country to rebel was later Qin. There were even rumors in the imperial palace that the death of the emperor of the Eastern Imperial Dynasty was also related to later Qin. Under such circumstances, Dongwang Ling was even more unwilling to marry the person who killed her father. Therefore, you ran away. However, running away from the marriage is related to the diplomatic relations between the eastern capital and the country. Ling, you are too reckless. Yin Sheng was worried. Zhou State's fate was declining. On the other hand, later Qin had a strong army and strong horses. Currently, the country's strength was rising day by day. Therefore, you ran away from the marriage. However, this matter can be delayed for a while, but can't be delayed forever. The people in the eastern capital will find out sooner or later. Dugu Xiu isn't someone who will let things go easily. Yin Sheng felt a headache coming on. The people in the eastern capital, including the left prime minister, they still don't know that I have already escaped to the mainland's magic elite camp. I only managed to escape with the help of my imperial mother and imperial brother. The Dongwang Ling that is currently in the eastern capital is one of my personal maids in disguise. She said that I am sick and need to rest for the next 2 years. Therefore, I won't get married for the time being. Although Dongwang Ling was physically in the magic elite camp, her heart was also in the eastern capital. She would often feel nervous in her heart, fearing that her deception would be seen through if she wasn't careful. This was also the reason why Dongwang Ling didn't dare to accept Gufeng. Although Gufeng was a light magician, compared to later Qin's Dugu Xiu, he was obviously not a match for Dugu Xiu. Dongwang Ling's identity was special. Her imperial mother had always hoped to find a martial artist as her son-in-law to protect Dongwang Ling. Gufeng, on the other hand, was a light magician. The greatest use of light magic was for defense and healing. In terms of attack, its use was really ordinary. This was also one of Dongwang Ling's concerns. Only now did Yunsheng know that although Dongwang Ling appeared to be carefree on the surface, there were actually so many things hidden in her heart. The two of them were speechless for a moment as they both thought about their own matters. In the next few days, Yunsheng continued to meditate in the cabin during the day. When it was late at night, she would go out to look for flying demonic beasts to test out the power of the magic windblade. In the next few days, Yunsheng comprehended her first dark magic, the magic windblade, and its power was already comparable to that of a high-grade magic. At the same time that Yunsheng was comprehending her magic, in Chunlian's cabin, Chunlian sat down cross-legged. She had her own cabin by herself. Chunlian carefully set up an anti-interference magic array around the cabin. After that, she took out an item from her storage ring. It was a shabby bracelet. She couldn't tell whether it was carved out of wood or bone. On the surface of the bracelet, there were inscriptions that were hard to understand. It was a pity that she couldn't tell what it was just by looking at its appearance. If it was in the past, Chunlian would definitely not want such a shabby item. However, this bracelet had a mysterious power. What exactly is this item? Chunlian didn't know that she had a treasure that would shock the entire continent. About half a month ago, Chunlian and a senior from the Magic Elite Camp entered the Dutian Blood Beast world together. This wasn't her first time entering the Blood Beast world. However, compared to the previous few times, this was the first time Chunlian entered the central region of the Dutian Blood Beast world. Yunsheng's appearance to Chunlian was like a lump in her throat. It was very uncomfortable. She had been thinking of ways to get rid of Yunsheng. Chapter 593. However, Yunsheng's Dark Gold Minor was known for not playing by the rules. Yunsheng and the others were nowhere to be seen during their training. As for the trip to Skywing City this time, Chunlian did not dare to act rashly with Elder Hellion around. After thinking about it, she could only wait for a while longer. Chunlian could only intensify her training, intending to kill Yunsheng after she entered the Blood Beast world. The Blood Beast world was already a familiar place for Chunlian. If Chunlian was alone, she would not have dared to enter the middle region of the Blood Beast world. However, she was accompanied by a senior who had broken through to become a Sky Mage. This senior was ranked in the top 30 on the Magic Power Roll, and he had entered the middle region of the Blood Beast world several times before. This senior had always been one of Chunlian's pursuers. Unfortunately, he was not good-looking, and Chunlian was preoccupied with e-biming, so she had always ignored him. The reason why Chunlian had interacted with him was because she had heard that this senior's cultivation had improved rapidly in the past few years, and that he had once killed a commander-level magical beast. In order to please Chunlian, he said that he would bring her to kill a commander-level magical beast alone. When Chunlian broke through to become a Sky Mage, she could use it to embed on her magic scepter. Chunlian followed him to the middle region of the Dutian Blood Beast world, but their luck was not good, and they did not find a suitable magical beast. In order to appease the unhappy Chunlian, the senior told her a secret. He said that the reason why he could break through so quickly was because he had a treasure in his hands. That senior was also mesmerized by her beauty. He took out this old bangle and told Chunlian that he had found this mysterious bangle in the stomach of a magical beast in the Dutian Blood Beast world by chance. Although the bangle looked old, and one could not tell its exact age, it had a mysterious power that could help the wearer speed up their training and increase the effects of their meditation by dozens of times. This was also the real reason why this senior brother had broken through. After Chunlian found out, she begged that senior brother to lend her the bracelet to play with for a few days. As long as he agreed, she would date him. That Shixiang was really stupid. He actually agreed to Chunlian's request. After Chunlian borrowed the treasure, she carried it on her body and cultivated for half a month. she discovered that this bracelet was indeed very effective. In the past half a month, her cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds. In an instant, she had reached the bottleneck of St. Magus and was on the verge of breaking through to Sky Magus. It just so happened that the second elder was taking a group of students to the Skywings arena at this time, so she begged Mentor Xiao and successfully obtained the spot. It's a pity that a small part of this bracelet is broken. If it could be repaired completely, I really don't know how much divine power it could unleash. But the most important thing right now is to break through to become a Sky Mage as soon as possible and enter the middle area of the Blood Beast world once more. Chun Lianer couldn't help but be greedy. That senior apprentice brother had promised her that he would return the bracelet after she returned from the Skywings arena. But there was a condition. When Chun Lianer returned, she wanted to be his woman. After tasting the mysteries of the bracelet, how could Chun Lianer be willing to let it go? She verbally agreed to that senior apprentice brother. Chun Lianer was very smart. She knew that she wasn't a match for that senior apprentice brother at the moment, but as long as she successfully broke through in the Skywings arena, she would also become a Sky Mage. At that time, she would naturally be able to dispose of that senior apprentice brother without anyone knowing. At that time, the bracelet would be hers. Chun Lianer recalled the way Yi Baiming had looked at Yun Sheng earlier, and her heart was in turmoil. She wanted nothing more than to immediately kill Yun Sheng. Yun Sheng. This time, at the Skywings arena, she would definitely think of a way to teach her a lesson. Chun Lianer held the bracelet and thought to herself, "We've arrived at Skywings City." Someone shouted excitedly from the deck. After hearing this, Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger walked out from the cabin. Gu Feng walked to Linger's side in a fawning manner, wanting to explain something, but Linger turned her face away, looking very cold. Dongwang Linger's unfamiliarity with Gu Feng made Gu Feng a little unhappy. Only Yun Sheng knew that Dongwang Linger was definitely worried that Gu Feng would continue to misunderstand her, so she deliberately distanced herself from him. Both of them were her good friends, and Dongwang Linger indeed had her difficulties. Yun Sheng could only silently pray for Gu Feng in her heart. The other students also walked up to the deck one after another. After 10 days of flight, although the spaceship's facilities were very complete, they were more or less not used to it. Everyone already missed the feeling of having their feet firmly planted on the ground. In the clouds ahead, a miracle city stood majestically. The Skywings arena was famous throughout the continent, but only those who had actually been to the Skywings arena would know. The Skywings arena was just a building, and it was located in the Cloud City, Skywings City. Skywings City was a city in the sky. There were no pillars below it, and it simply floated above the clouds. The size of the city was comparable to the size of any of the 5 great nations' capitals. Below the clouds, astonishing magic power was emitted. Yun Sheng believed that there must be a magic array of unprecedented scale hidden below. It was also this magic array that supported the entire city to float above the clouds. No one knew why it could float 10,000 meters above the ground, and no one knew who built Skywing City. The only thing everyone knew was that Skywing City had a mysterious city lord. The power of this city lord was even above that of the 5 great nations, because Skywing City was the only place on the continent that openly accommodated fugitives from the 5 great nations, and even some dark magicians. The purpose of Skywing City was that as long as you were strong enough and could survive in Skywing City, you could stay there, even if you killed the nobles of the 5 great nations. That mysterious city lord never appeared in front of the world, but in Skywing City, no one could offend the authority of that city lord. That's Skywing City. Although this was Gu Feng's 3rd visit to Skywing City, every time he came, he would be impressed by the grandeur and grandeur of Skywing City. Yun Sheng had also never seen such a unique city. Every piece of wall and every building here was ingenious and original. In her impression, only the cities of the elves could compare to this. Outside Skywing City, there was a spacious ladder. The airship and the arriving powerhouses all had to use the ladder to record their identities at the city gate and enter the city. Not long after the airship arrived, Elder Yu of the elite warrior camp of the continent arrived at almost the same time, leading a dozen or so warrior students. Like a dozen arrows, they landed at the same time. Elder Yu did not show any weakness and immediately stopped the ship, allowing the group to enter the city. Chapter 594. Upon entering Skywing's city, a fragrance assailed their nostrils. All kinds of treasured trees and fragrant flowers were planted all around. What entered their sight was a neat street. Yunsheng took a closer look and saw that the street under her feet was actually paved with gold. Looking at the houses on both sides, they were actually built with white marble. Even Yunsheng, who had tens of thousands of gold on her waist and used purple gold to refine magic tools, couldn't help but be speechless when she saw this. How much does it cost to buy a house in Skywing City? As the princess of the Eastern Imperial Dynasty, Dongwang Linger had never seen such a luxurious city. It is said that the most ordinary house is worth tens of millions of gold coins. The city lord of Skywing City is the richest person in the continent. Even the continent's largest everlasting chamber of commerce is nothing in front of him. Every inch of land in Skywing City was worth an inch of gold. Those who were able to buy a house here were either the continent's wealthiest families or wealthy merchants. For the majority of the students of the continent's elite magician camp, it was their first time coming to Skywing City. Everything around them was very fresh. While they were still lingering in the surrounding scenery, Elder Hellion first found an inn and walked in. Seeing Elder Yu and the others, Elder Hellion's complexion wasn't very good. Along the way, the continent's elite warrior camp's provocation was becoming more and more obvious. When he left the continent's elite magician camp earlier, he had a slip of the tongue and said that this time he would definitely trample the continent's elite warrior camp under his feet. When he used an empty boat, the other party simply used battle chi wings to fly. When he stayed in this inn, the other party also looked for this inn. Skywing City has so many inns. You don't have to follow us all the way, right? Elder Hellion wasn't in a good mood. That's where you're wrong. I'm not like your continent's magician's elite camp, where you can afford to pay for a dozen or so students. Our continent's warrior's elite camp has always been self-sufficient. I'm only responsible for leading the way. Elder Yu said proudly. The fact that Elder Yu didn't want to take the empty airship and allowed the students to fly with their Dochi wings had made Elder Hellion sullen for more than 10 days. It wasn't easy for him to think of a way to turn the tables. Elder Yu looked at the elite camp martial artist behind him and roared, "All of you, listen up. This time, if you don't win the title of Fighting King for me, you'll see what's good for you. You can't learn from some people who are as expensive as sick cats and even provide food and accommodation. A bunch of rich young masters and misses." Fighting King. Elder Hoyen's ears perked up. The group of cultivators also knew that Elder Yu was competing with Elder Hellion, so they all cooperated very well. After replying energetically, they all left. After all the students had left, Elder Hellion pointed at Elder Yu's nose and scolded. "You Pajuan, what do you mean by that? Are you saying that the magicians of our elite magician battalion are useless?" Elder Hellion was dissatisfied. "Hee, that's exactly what I meant. What's the matter? You're not convinced? If you're not convinced, then let your spoiled brats go to the arena to spar. We'll see who gets the title of Grappling King in the end." Elder Yu saw that he had angered Elder Hellion. Not only did he not back down, but he also had a smug look on his face. He had long since taken note of Elder Hellion's team. TSK, there really were all kind of people in there. To actually dare send a student at the Master Mage level to the Skywings arena, it was truly a case of the god of longevity hanging himself, tired of living. On the other hand, everyone in his team, this time, was an elite student. Let's compete, then. What if this old man wins? Elder Hoyen's fiery temper was easily ignited. If the third elder and the others were here, they would definitely hold him back. Unfortunately, the other elders weren't here. If you lose, dream on. With that motley crew of yours. If you win, the next mission for the Octotera Divine Artifact will be up to your elite magician battalion. Elder Yu simply did not believe that Elder Helian's group of people would be able to obtain the title of Combat King. The mission for the Octaterra divine artifact. Elder Helian's thick eyebrows twitched when he heard those words. No matter what, the elite magician battalion was still a whole. The mission for the Octaterra divine artifact had already been agreed upon by the elder councils of both sides a few years ago to work together. But it had never been made clear which side had the final say. If he could use this trial to obtain the title of Combat King and seize the initiative for the next cooperation, then at that time, the elders of the Council of Elders would definitely see him in a new light. The third elder thought to himself that when the time came, the fourth elder and the others wouldn't mock him every day for having muscles but no brains. All right, it's a deal. We'll compete. Whoever's team member gets the title of Fighting King first or has a strong breakthrough will be considered the winner. Elder Helian agreed at once. The combined age of the two added up to 100 years. But now they were like fighting cocks with red necks and red eyes. Dear guest, there are a total of 7 double rooms that you requested. Each room costs 100 gold coins a night. The waiter's head was covered in cold sweat. He didn't know where these two had come from. I'm the same as him. I only want a luxurious single room. Elder Helian decided that he could no longer spoil the group of magicians under him. Elder Yu seemed to have expected that Elder Helian would fall for his provocation. He leisurely asked for a luxurious single room and went upstairs to rest. Elder Helian also turned around and walked out. As he walked, he pondered. The inns in Skywing City were indeed not cheap. Even the most ordinary double room would cost a few hundred gold coins a night. The 7 rooms for the elite magician battalion this time would cost at least 100,000 gold coins, including daily food and accommodation. This expenditure wasn't considered a large sum for the elite magician battalion. After all, the elite magician battalion could refine magic potions to earn extra money. But it was different for the elite warrior battalion. They had no income from magic potions, and their finances were much tighter than the elite magician battalions. This was also the reason why the elite magician battalion had always mocked the elite warrior battalion. But today, they had become a laughingstock. He must make Elder Yu change his view of the elite magician battalion. Elder Helian quickly came out. The magicians of the elite magician battalion were still waiting outside. Students, we have arrived at Skywing City. Please hand over your storage items first. Although everyone was doubtful, they still handed over their storage rings, necklaces, bracelets, belts, and so on. Yin Sheng had no choice but to hand over her beast language ring as well. After checking, Elder Helian confirmed that everyone had handed over their storage items. Only then did he speak again. We will be staying in Skywing City for a year. In this year, all of you will be responsible for your food, lodging, and expenses. Your storage items will be temporarily handed over to me for safekeeping. There are only 2 ways to get your storage rings back. One is to make continuous breakthroughs in your cultivation. The other is to obtain the title of Fighting King in the arena. The moment Elder Helian finished speaking, the students were stunned. Chapter 595. It was only then that everyone understood Elder Helian's intentions. To put it simply, Elder Helian was only responsible for the double plane tickets for the students this time. Food and lodging were not included. All of Yun Sheng's belongings and elixirs were in the beast language ring. Other than a magic scepter and the Shinnong medical bangle, she was penniless. The situation of the others was similar to Yun Sheng's. Elder Helian. Yin Sheng could not hold back anymore. Ling Goofing and I are not official students who are breaking through this time. Are we going to be like them? Yun Sheng's concerns were not without reason. The 3 of them were obviously weaker than the others in terms of cultivation. Furthermore, this was their first time in Skywing City. Under such circumstances, it would be difficult for them to make a living. The few of you came with the main team, which means that you are the substitutes. Since you are the substitutes, you should be treated the same as the others. This is also to show that I am fair and treat everyone equally. Elder Helian did not buy it. Besides, I've already said it clearly. If you break through or obtain the title of Combat King, You can come back to collect your belongings. I'm not making things difficult for you." What he meant now was that Yun Sheng's cultivation was only that of a master mage. If she really broke through, it would be the easiest. How could Yun Sheng not know this? She could break through at any time. After all, her real cultivation was that of Saint Mage. However, she could not break through immediately. Otherwise, it would attract unnecessary suspicion. The other students also had bitter looks on their faces. However, they had already handed over their belongings. No one dared to go against the third elder's wishes. What's going on? The seniors who came for the trial in the past did not mention this. I remember that it was Elder Hellion who led the team. Why did the rules suddenly change? I think I saw Elder Yu from the Warrior Elite camp just now. It's most likely that the elders from both sides are competing with each other again. How pitiful. We have become the victims. Everyone complained to each other, but there was no other way. In the Skywing City, the fastest way to make money was through fighting. As long as one participated in the corresponding matches in the arena and won a few matches, one would be guaranteed a sufficient amount of money in the Skywing City. These students from the continent's Magic Elite camp were no ordinary characters. Each and every one of them was very flexible. They had all thought that the only way to break through was to go to the Skywing's arena and participate in the competition. This way, they could both increase their cultivation and earn enough money to survive in the city for a year. If no one has any objections, I will wait for all of you during this year. Unless there are heavy casualties, do not come and look for me. Elder Hellion had steeled his heart this time. He waved his hand and walked straight into the inn to rest. The students of the Continental Magic Elite Camp looked at each other in dismay. This was clearly different from their previous training. However, these students were only surprised for a moment before they quickly adjusted themselves. After all, each of them was the top of the elite camp. It shouldn't be too difficult for them to survive in Skywing City for a year. Let's go. Chun Lian, and a few other magicians walked away. The other magicians also walked away separately. Yun Sheng, Dongwang Linger, Abandon, and Goofing stayed where they were. They all had distressed looks on their faces. They didn't know what to do next. They were completely clueless about Skywing City. On the large street, people came and went. The four of them looked at each other in dismay. "Everyone, don't worry. I have a trick up my sleeve." Goofing mysteriously took off his shoes and pulled out a limitless gold card. This limitless gold card was given to Goofing as a bonus from the 10,000 gold coins that Yun Sheng had won in the Wanlong gambling house. Goofing wasn't Yun Sheng. Most of his money had been sent back to his hometown, so he didn't have much money on him. This limitless gold card was left behind because he couldn't bear to spend it. It could be considered his entire fortune. 10,000 gold coins. Let's take it as our little treasury. It's getting late. Let's find an inn to stay in first. After entering Skywing City, Yun Sheng didn't see any trace of Yi Baiming. After finding an that looked pretty good, Yun Sheng and the other three walked in. 100 gold coins for a room, and it's only the most ordinary of rooms. Yun Sheng and the others clearly overestimated the use of 10,000 gold coins. "Goofeng, didn't you come to Skywing City before? Don't tell me you don't know the cost of living here?" Dongwang Linger complained. "I came here with my teacher. How would I know that the cost of living is so high?" Goofing also had a bitter face. Skywing City was indeed worthy of being called Cloud City. The cost of living here was definitely top-notch. It wasn't just lodging. Even a most ordinary of meals cost several hundred gold coins. 10,000 gold coins, if the four of them spent it, would only last them for 2 months at most. Let's stay here first. As for earning money, we'll think about it at length. Yin Sheng had a headache. She felt as if she had returned to her childhood. When she was in Banana Leaf Village, she had also thought of all kinds of ways to earn money to support her family. After the few of them checked into the inn, they hastily ate a meal and started discussing their livelihood for the next year. "I only know how to spend money. I don't know how to earn money. I can go to the gambling house as a guard. I know how to heal. I can sneak into the arena to heal the contestants and earn some extra money." After the discussion, Yun Sheng was speechless. The three of them clearly didn't realize the uniqueness of the Skywing City they were in. Linger, You don't have to do anything. You just have to promise not to spend money recklessly. Abandon, even if there's a gambling house here, no one will cause trouble. This is Skywing's city, and no one will dare to defy the dignity of the Skywing City Lord. On the other hand, Gufeng, you've come up with the right idea this time. The Skywings Arena is bound to need light magicians. We'll be relying on you to feed everyone. When Yun Sheng said this, Linger and Abandon were somewhat discouraged, but Gufeng's face was full of complacency. Let's first say that the purpose of our visit is to help Abandon break through and become a sky magician. The second is to observe, so everything has to be done to facilitate Abandon's advancement to master. Gufeng, you're the one who understands Skywing City the most here. Give us a simple explanation of the situation in the city, including the layout of the city, as well as the most important ways to earn money here. With the issue of feeding settled, Yun Sheng felt more at ease. She also had other ways to earn money in her mind. The easiest way to earn money in the Skywings Arena is naturally through the competition, Gufeng said matter-of-factly. Isn't that nonsense? The problem is, among the four of us, who can go to the arena besides Abandon? Yun Sheng waved her hand impatiently. After Yun Sheng said this, the other three fell silent. Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger. One was a master magician, while the other was a junior saint magician. Magicians with such cultivation might be able to survive in the boundless continent's 5 great nations. But in an abnormal arena like the Skywings Arena, they were like ants. Any sky magician or martial saint could kill a large number of them with a pinch. Chapter 596. I'm going to participate in the competition. That's the purpose of my trip, Abandon said. That's all we can do. Starting tomorrow, Gufeng, you'll accompany Abandon to the Skywings Arena to participate in the individual competition. At the same time, you'll look for opportunities to use magic to heal. Linger and I will wander around the city and see if we can buy some herbs and magic materials at a low price and process them into intermediate and advanced magic potions. Although Yun Sheng also wanted to go to the arena to take a look, the price of the arena's entrance ticket was not cheap. The 4 of them were poor and could not afford the expenses of 4 people. Yun Sheng had already thought about it. She was most certain that she could make a lot of money by using magic potions like the Moon Goddess's tribute to gain something without risking anything. After the 4 of them rested in the inn for the night, Gufeng and Abandon went to the Skywings Arena early in the morning. Yun Sheng, on the other hand, strolled around Skywing City with Dongwang Linger. Before Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger left the inn, they had already inquired about the market in Skywing City. Yun Sheng planned to refine a batch of elixirs and magic materials as soon as possible to earn some money. The 2 of them went to the market and bought some fresh herbs at a lower price. Yun Sheng returned to the inn, and in just one afternoon, she had already refined a batch of middle-grade elixirs and magic potions. It was not that Yun Sheng could not refine high-grade magic potions, but because her current strength was at the lowest level in Skywing City. Rashly selling high-grade elixirs and magic potions might attract unnecessary trouble. Yun Sheng was still very cautious about this. Before she figured out the true distribution of power in Skywing City, she would not rashly reveal her strength. Although the beast speech ring had been taken away, Yun Sheng's elven hellfire was still readily available. This allowed her to easily refine middle-grade magic potions. Yun Sheng believed that in a place like Skywing City, the daily sales of magic potions and elixirs would definitely be good. Yun Sheng was also in the local area. She found many medical centers. She believed that as long as it was a medical center, they would not refuse high-quality medicinal pills and magic potions. Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger each brought a batch of demonic medicines and elixirs to the shops in Skywing City to sell. Yun Sheng chose the large clinic. As soon as she entered the door, Yun Sheng asked, "Excuse me, are you here to purchase mid-grade hemostatic agents and meditation water?" These 2 kinds of drugs were Yun Sheng's best. No, get out immediately. Upon hearing that Yun Sheng was not here to see a doctor, but to sell pills and magic potions, The doctors inside looked as if they had seen a ghost and hurried Yunsheng out. Yunsheng went to a few more medical centers in succession, but who knew that, without exception, she was chased out of all of them. Helpless, Yunsheng could only return to the inn first. As soon as she returned to the inn, Dongwang Linger also happened to return. She had a depressed look on her face. Looking at the situation, she did not manage to sell the magic potions. "I'm so angry. Those people are too unreasonable." When Dongwang Linger returned, her appearance was much worse than Yunsheng's. Her clothes were stained with mud, her hair was messy, and her face was red with anger. It was obvious that she had gotten into a conflict with someone. Dongwang Linger also encountered the same thing that Yunsheng encountered in the various medical centers. However, when Dongwang Linger saw that she was unable to sell the magic potions, she decided to use another method. She was, after all, a princess. After going to a few medical centers and being rejected by all of them, she was already filled with anger. She thought that since no one wanted to buy the magic potions, she might as well sell them on the streets. After all, there were so many warriors and mages participating in the tournament in Skywing City. There would definitely be people who needed the magic potions. Dongwang Linger really managed to sell a few bottles of magic potions. However, the good times didn't last long. A group of people suddenly surrounded her. Among those people, there were mages and warriors. They taught Dongwang Linger a lesson and even smashed all of her magic potions into pieces. Where did that group of people come from? They actually dared to cause trouble on the streets? When Yunsheng saw Dongwang Linger's appearance, she was furious. While treating Dongwang Linger, she asked about the ins and outs of the matter. "I'm also not sure. Their cultivation is not bad. However, their actions are just like those of hooligans. I've also asked around. So in Skywing City, magic potions and medicinal pills cannot be sold privately." Although Dongwang Linger was filled with anger, she was not an idiot. She knew that she was not a match for that group of people. Thus, she ran back. There were so many people on the streets, but no one dared to help her. However, after asking around privately, she found out that that group of people was a well-known dark power in Skywing City. As it turned out, although Skywing City was built by the Skywing City Lord, the Skywing City Lord had never appeared in the city. There were many experts in the city, and there were all kinds of people coming in and out of the city. Gradually, several major forces were formed in Skywing City. Among these major forces, the largest one was the Treasure Boat. The Treasure Boat was the largest auction house in the city, and behind it was the Skywing City Lord. Thus, the other major forces in the city did not dare to offend the Treasure Boat. However, the Treasure Boat would not easily interfere with other affairs in the city. As for the remaining major forces, one of them was called the Hidden Night Pavilion. This Hidden Night Pavilion was in charge of the sales of medicinal pills and magic potions in the entire Skywing City. In Skywing City, all medicinal pills and magic potions had to be approved by the Black Medicine Hall before they could be produced and sold. No wonder we only saw the most basic medicinal herbs and magic materials in the market earlier. Yunsheng had bought the lowest grade of materials in the local market. If not for the fact that she had met a state-level doctor like Yunsheng, it would be impossible for her to refine magic potions and medicinal pills of mid-level and above. While they were talking, Gufeng and Qi, who had been out for a day, returned. However, to Yunsheng's surprise, Gufeng was also covered in injuries, and he was supported by Qi as he walked in. "How did you end up like this?" Dongwang Linger had forgotten about her injuries for a moment, and her face was full of worry. During this period of time, due to her marriage, Dongwang Linger had always been indifferent to Gufeng. Gufeng, that silly boy, had asked Yunsheng a few times in private. Yunsheng, who knew the inside story, could not bear to hurt Gufeng, so she did not say it clearly. Gufeng still had a belly full of anger, but when he saw Dongwang Linger's concerned tone, all his grievances disappeared. He had a bitter face, and his mouth kept crying out in pain as he looked at Dongwang Linger with a pitiful expression like a little white rabbit. If it had been a young lady doing this, perhaps there would have been some effect of pity, but Gufeng, such a strong man, did it. There was no pity at all. and Yunsheng and Qi could not help but laugh. Fortunately, Linger looked anxious and did not laugh at goofing like she usually did. Isn't it because of that damned Hidden Night Pavilion? They actually forbid outsiders from treating people in the Skywings arena. Goofing was helped to sit on the bed by Qi. Looking back, Big Foreign had lasted for a month. She had broken the record. It's almost the end of the year, and I don't know how much longer she can last. Should we give her some encouragement? Pink Peach Heart looked at Chapter 597. Gu Feng and Abandon had both arrived at the Skywings arena today, and Abandon had participated in today's competition. Gu Feng was a light magician, and it was inconvenient for him to compete alone. His method of increasing his cultivation was to continuously heal others. Therefore, he began to look for injured people in the arena and treated them at a very discounted price of 5 gold coins per session. Who would have thought that before Goofing finished his treatment, he would fiercely rush up to several magicians, claiming to be from the Dark Potion Pavilion, and teach Goofing a lesson? If not for the fact that Goofing had the light ball of heaven to protect himself, and that Abandon had just finished his competition, Goofing would have been beaten up even more miserably. The Dark Potion Pavilion again. Yunsheng frowned when she heard that. Didn't you come to the Skywings arena before? Didn't you encounter a similar situation at that time? No. At that time, I was following Elder Hellion and Minter Guangxi, and I was only treating my own team members. I never encountered the Dark Potion Pavilion. Goofing was still angry. He had always been proud of being a light magician, but this time he felt the disadvantage of a light magician. He had no power to resist at all. Dongwang Linger's eyes dimmed when she heard that. Elder Hellion and the others most definitely knew about the rules of this place. Merely, they must have cleared up the rules and protected everyone very well. The other party didn't attack us on account of the fact that we're from the elite camp. This time, we're acting alone. Moreover, our cultivation bases are very average. That's why the other party is bullying us. Abandoned analyzed from the side. Yunsheng also agreed with Abandoned's point of view. Elder Hellion must have expected that everyone would be suppressed. This training was also to help everyone better experience the darkness of Skywing City and to train everyone's strength and mentality. Actually, we also encountered a similar situation today. Yunsheng told the two of them what had happened to her and Dongwang Linger. It seemed that the dark medicine firm's influence was far greater than Yunsheng had imagined. Not only in Skywing City, but even in the Colosseum, their influence was terrifying. From the sale of pills and magic potions to the general magic treatment, everything was under their jurisdiction. I also went to the arena today and participated in 2 matches, but I didn't get any prize money. Abandon shrugged awkwardly. Yunsheng and the others were still a little surprised. Could it be that with Qi's skills, he had participated in 2 competitions and lost both? As it turned out, the Heaven's Wings Arena was the #1 arena on the continent, and the rules for the competition were very special. Moreover, the fights in the Skywings Arena weren't entirely between Sky Mages or Martial Saints as she had expected. If that was the case, Elder Hellion would not have brought them here to train. The matches in the Heaven's Wings Arena were divided into 2 categories according to the number of participants: individual matches and pair matches. According to the strength of the participants, they were divided into 4 zones: Heaven Wings, Earth Wings, Black Wings, and Yellow Wings. These 4 zones represented the 4 different levels of competition, and the prize money and participants were different. Sky Wings, as the name implied, was the highest level of competition. Only mages, warriors, and summoners who possessed battle aura shoulders or had the strength of a sky magician could participate in the individual, team, and individual competitions. The entire process had to be carried out in the sky. The prize money for a single match was as high as 10,000 gold. Earth Wings referred to the martial arts master or saint magician level competitions. The competition process could be carried out in the sky or on land, and the prize money for a single match was 1,000 gold. Black Wings was the only competition among the four that involved magical beasts, and the prize money for a single match was 500 gold. Yellow Wings was the free competition among the four zones that did not limit the level of the participants, but strictly prohibited participants at the Martial Saint or Sky Mage level and above from participating. The prize money for a single match was 500 gold. Among the four types of competitions, the Skywing competition had the highest prize money and was the most exciting. There was no need to doubt this, because there were not many experts at the level of Sky Mages and Martial Saints on the Boundless Continent. Once they made a move, they would all use high-level magic and battle techniques. The tickets for these competitions were also the most expensive. Just the spectator seats alone cost several thousand gold. The four levels of Heaven, Earth, Black, and Yellow each had their own Fighting King, but the conditions for winning a Fighting King were different. According to the rules of the Heaven's Wings Arena, obtaining 30 consecutive victories at the Heaven Wings level could earn the title of Fighting King. Obtaining the title of Fighting King at the other levels required 50, 100, and 100 victories, respectively. In addition, the Heaven's Wings Arena also had a rule that after participating in a competition at a certain level, unless there was a breakthrough in cultivation, one could not participate in the competitions of other zones. Abandon was now a Saint Magician, so he naturally participated in the second type of competition, the Earth Wings level competition. Still, the competition here is very difficult. I participated in 2 matches today, 1 win and 1 loss. As for the prize money, it will only be settled at the end of the month. Abandon had won the first match of the day, but lost the second. According to the cumulative method of the Heaven's Wings Arena, the prize money of the participants was distributed once a month, but the specific cumulative prize money was different from person to person. For example, Abandon was a novice. If he won an Earth Wings level competition, his prize money would be 500 gold. But if he lost the second match, half of the 500 gold he already had would be deducted. This is too much of a scam. How are we going to survive this month? Goofing had already had his wound bandaged by Yun Sheng, and when he heard Abandon mention the prize money rules of the Heaven's Wings Arena, he couldn't help but cry out. Not to mention Goofing, even Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger had never heard of such a competition rule. Yes, to put another way, if I've already lost 10 matches, but in the 11th match, I meet an opponent who has won 20 matches in a row and defeated him, then my prize money will far exceed the 2,000 gold. That's because it's very likely that he'll have accumulated several thousand, or even several tens of thousands, from his previous opponents. Abandon was rather indifferent to such a competition rule. It wasn't without reason that the Heaven's Wings Arena could be called the #1 arena on the continent. Such a rule could very easily arouse a person's competitive spirit. In a month, some people would be left without a single coin, while others might very well have accumulated several tens of thousands of gold. On one hand, this was an opportunity, but on the other hand, it was also a very big challenge. Like Abandon, who won 1 match and lost another, the prize money was much smaller. Yin Sheng heard this and immediately began to calculate in her mind. They wanted to survive in Skywing City for a year, and money was a very important factor. They only had 10,000 gold on them, which could only be used for a month or 2 at most. They had originally planned to sell potions and pills, but because of the appearance of the Dark Potion Pavilion, they had no choice but to give up prematurely. At the moment, it seemed that the only way to provide them with a stable income was through fighting in the arena. Chapter 598. Yin Sheng had also thought of having another source of income, and that was refining equipment. Yun Sheng's Elven Hellfire could not only be used to concoct mid-high level pills and potions, it could also be used to refine equipment. After all, the price of a magic equipment was much higher than a bottle of pills. The Dark Medicine Pavilion had monopolized the local pills and potions, but they did not have a monopoly on magic equipment. Yin Sheng had also noticed that there were quite a number of magic equipment stores that sold high-level magic equipment. Selling magic equipment was not a bad idea. However, Yin Sheng had also considered that refining equipment was different from refining medicine. For example, refining a magic scepter required the bones of a demonic beast and the soul stone of a demonic beast. For these, Yinsheng did not have any ready-made materials. Refining equipment required high-level magic materials or soul stones. Yunsheng did not have any extra money to buy high-level magic materials. Buying high-level magic materials required a large amount of money. The gold coins that Yunsheng and the others had right now were obviously just a drop in the bucket. For example, the result of a bandits competition today, in the end, there was no prize money. However, if he could maintain his winning streak, then 1 month later, the prize money that he would receive would undoubtedly be very astonishing. If that's the case, Yinsheng, you and I can participate in the Yellow Wing level competition and try our luck. At the very most, whoever wins a few rounds will not participate in the competition for the rest of the month. That way, we can still earn a few thousand gold coins. Dong Wang Ling was also filled with anger today and urgently needed to vent it out. Hearing that with their cultivation, they could also participate in the competition, and thus, they also wanted to participate in the competition. In any case, even if they were to participate in the competition, they wouldn't be able to earn a single gold coin. At the same time, they could also train their magic. It's not that you can't participate in the Yellow Wing level competition. However, I heard that the Yellow Wing level competition might not be easier than the Earth Wing level competition. This is because the number of people participating in the Yellow Wing level competition is the highest among the 4 levels. The strength of the participants is also different. Abandon had also considered whether to participate in the Earth Wing level competition or the Yellow Wing level competition. After all, these 2 levels of competition were both suitable for sky mages and martial saints to participate in. After some consideration, Abandon still chose to participate in the Earth Wing level competition. The other students from a mainland's elite magic camp who were going to the Skywings arena with Abandon also participated in the Earth Wing level competition. After all, it was faster to increase one's strength in competition with opponents of the same level. After some discussion, Yunsheng and Dongwang Ling decided to participate in the Yellow Wing competition. Elder Hulian's sudden idea had undoubtedly messed up Yunsheng and Dongwang Ling's status as substitutes. Of course, Dongwang Ling. They had no choice but to participate in the competition. After all, neither of them was willing to rely on the competition prize money of their own to have income of the competition. After Yunsheng and Dongwang Linger made their decision, the next morning, they followed Qi and Gu Feng to the Skywings arena to check out the situation. Walking to the Heavens Wings arena was like seeing the ancient Roman Colosseum. The 10-meter-tall walls of the arena blocked the view from the outside. At the entrance of the arena, a badge could be seen. On the badge was the symbol of a 4-leaf clover, except that each leaf was a feather of a different color. That was the sky, earth, black, and yellow wing level competition. The colors were gold, black, blue, and yellow respectively. Abandon had already participated in the Earth Wing level competition yesterday. After he registered, he obtained a black feather badge, which symbolized that he was qualified to participate in the Earth Wing competition. Yunsheng and Dongwang Ling could only participate in the Yellow Wing level competition. The 4 of them stood at the entrance of the Skywings arena, preparing to enter. Yo, who did we meet? Aren't these the 2 prize students of the Dark Gold instructor? Before Yunsheng and the others could ask about the specific location of the competition zone and the registration process, a few mocking voices came from behind them. Yunsheng didn't need to turn around to know who had spoken. Qinlian and a few of her supporters stood not far away, each of them wearing the black feather badge on their chests. These people had also participated in the Earth Wing competition yesterday. However, the difference between them and Abandon was that they had only won more than 2 matches. Therefore, everyone's eyes were filled with pride. Ignore them. Let's enter. Yinsheng ignored Qinlian's provocation. Stop. With your strength, you want to participate in the competition? I advise you to buy a mask to cover your faces. Otherwise, you'll lose all the face of our continent's magic elite camp. Qinlian sneered. Qinlian Are you looking for trouble? Dong Wang Ling was also furious. I'm just speaking the truth. Let me tell you first. The arena is not like the continent's elite camp, where there are instructors protecting you. Chun Lian snorted. I'll return those words to you without missing a single word. In the arena, there are no men to protect you. Yin Sheng raised her eyebrows. Her words made Chun Lianer's insults choke in her throat. Just at this time, Yi Baiming walked over. Chun Lianer happened to be standing next to a few magicians who were trying to curry favor with her. Her pretty face was flushed red, and she quickly distanced herself from them, afraid that Yi Baiming would misunderstand. Baiming, I have nothing to do with them. Don't listen to Yun Sheng. That little bitch is nonsense. Chun Lian hurriedly tried to explain. Yin Sheng rolled her eyes. She was innocent. It was Langer who said that. What does your business have to do with me? Yi Baiming said indifferently and walked in front of Yin Sheng. He looked at Yin Sheng and said, I have something to say to you. After saying that, he pulled Yin Sheng's hand and walked to the side without any explanation. Chun Lian stomped her foot in anger and ran away. The mages behind her immediately chased after her. She frowned. Just when he was about to say something, he was stopped by Yun Sheng's gaze. Yun Sheng was pulled to the side by Yi Baiming. When she saw Dong Wang Ling winking at her, she felt awkward. If you have something to say it quickly. We are now competitors. Yin Sheng angrily shook off Yi Baiming's hand. Elder Hellion had already made it clear that they must be one step ahead of the people from the mainland's warrior elite camp to obtain the Fighting King's victory or breakthrough. In Yun Sheng's opinion, Yi Baiming was undoubtedly the strongest person in the mainland's warrior elite camp. Here is an Empire's gold card. Keep it first. Yi Baiming also heard that Elder Hellion of the mainland's mage elite camp was ruthless and kicked all the mages out of the camp. He knew that Yinxing definitely didn't have any money with her right now. Otherwise, with her personality, she wouldn't have rashly participated in the tournament. The Yun Sheng that Yi Baiming knew wasn't a high-profile person. No need. I will rely on my own strength to win the tournament. However, there was a little devil-like voice in Yun Sheng's heart that kept bewitching her to accept the gold card. Chapter 599. Yin Sheng loved money, but she didn't dare to accept Night Fox's money recklessly. But on second thought, given her and Yi Baiming's current relationship, which couldn't be severed, what right did she have to accept his gold card for no reason? Why did the scene look so much like alimony? Moreover, how would he know that she was short of money? Yin Sheng felt like she had been seen through, and that wasn't a good feeling. Thinking about his previous actions, Yinxing pushed the gold card away in a fit of pique. Ignoring Yi Baiming, she ran back and dragged Dong Wang Linger, who was watching a good show, as well as abandoned and goofing, who had strange expressions, into the Skywings arena. Yi Baiming looked at the gold card in his hand with a complicated expression. Master, that woman doesn't know what's good for her. Long Shui walked out of the crowd and looked in the direction that Yun Sheng and the others had left with a fierce glare. She was also dressed like an ordinary mage today, but her good looks attracted the attention of the people around her as soon as she appeared. According to Yi Baiming's earlier instructions, Silong of the Wanlong gambling house had already arrived in Skywing City. As soon as Yi Baiming entered Tianyi City, he moved into a courtyard that Silong had bought in Tianyi City. There's no need for others to interfere in the matter between me and her. Long Shui, you just need to do your part well. According to this king's arrangements, you and Long too will immediately go and sign up for the Yellow Wings competition, Yi Baiming ordered in a deep voice. After giving the order, Yi Baiming turned and left without a word. Only in front of Yun Sheng would Yi Baiming reveal a different expression. In front of Long Shui, he would always speak in a cold tone, like a superior speaking to a subordinate. Long Shui bit her lip and headed for the Yellow Wings competition area. Yi Baiming didn't start the competition immediately like the other elite camps. Instead, he first bought 4 tickets. These 4 tickets were for the Heaven, Earth, Xian, and Huang level competitions. After watching the competition, Yi Biming finally had a general understanding of the strength level of the entire Skywings arena. When Yi Biming was buying tickets, he ran into someone who caught his attention. Feng Tan, recognized by the continent's magic elites, was the strongest among this batch of freshmen. At the same time, other than Yun Sheng, Feng Tian was also the other two-star star mage. Feng Tian also happened to be buying tickets. Yi Biming glanced at the tickets in Feng Tian's hands that were exactly the same as his. It seemed like he wasn't the only one who wanted to observe first before competing. So Elder Huiyan's test varies from person to person, or did you already have a card up your sleeve? Yi Biming also had some impression of Feng Tian. That day, when the continent's martial arts elite camp and the continent's magic elite camp met, although most of Yi Biming's attention was on Yun Sheng, on the other hand, he could clearly see the strength of the entire magic elite camp at a glance. Apart from the leader, Elder Huiyan, the strongest was Feng Tian, ranked first on the list of freshmen's potential. If Yi Biming wasn't wrong, Feng Tian's strength wasn't the rumored peak Saint Mage. His strength should have already broken through to become a Sky Mage. Therefore, Feng Tian was also the biggest obstacle in Yi Biming's quest to become the king of combat in the Skywings arena. I will defeat you. Feng Tian practically never opened his mouth to speak in the continent's magic elite camp. That was because he felt that none of the students in the continent's magic elite camp were worthy of speaking to him. However, this young warrior from the continent's martial arts elite camp was different. Even with Feng Tian's eyesight, he couldn't see the other party's depth for a while. Your opponent isn't me. If you don't pay attention, she will surpass you at any time. Yi Biming's almond-shaped eyes raised slightly as he smiled. That smile didn't have the slightest intention of going tit for tat. Or rather, he didn't take Feng Tian seriously at all. This smile was beyond that of men and women. It was as monstrous as it could be. In the present world, only Yi Biming could show such a smile. Even Feng Tian was momentarily dazzled by Yi Biming's smile. When he came back to his senses, Yi Biming had already left. Yi Biming's words were still lingering in Feng Tian's mind. As the two most outstanding people in the continent's magic elite camp and martial arts elite camp, Yi Biming said that he was no match for him. Was he taking the initiative to show weakness? Or was there another meaning? If his opponent wasn't him, then who would it be? Who was he talking about? Who could surpass him at any time? Feng Tian recalled that when they were on the empty ship earlier, Yi Biming had stared at the person through everyone. Could it be her? Yun Sheng, who was selected as a star-marked student in the continent's magic elite camp with him. How could it be? She was just a master mage. Feng Tian scoffed. After that assessment, he had asked his mentor about it. His mentor told him not to take it to heart. The reason why that person called Yun Sheng attracted the attention of the elders was only because she was a very talented potion apothecary. It was said that her magic attributes were somewhat special and could refine a very legendary potion on the continent, the Tribute of the Moon God. Feng Tian had also heard of the Tribute of the Moon God, but that was just a potion that strengthened one's magic physique. For a genius like him, who was only a step away from becoming a Sky Mage, it was completely meaningless. Could Yi Biming be saying that Yun Sheng would surpass him? Ridiculous. Feng Tian clenched the tickets in his hands. No matter what, Yi Biming, in these 3 months of the trial, we will definitely meet in the competition of the Earthwings division. At that time, I will definitely defeat you with my own hands and obtain the title of King of Combat at the level of the Earthwings. At that time, I want to see who is the real #1 person in the continent's elite camp. Yun Sheng didn't know that Yi Biming and Feng Tian had already had their first secret confrontation. After separating from Yi Biming, Yun Sheng returned to normal. After entering the Heaven's Wings arena, 4 roads appeared at a crossroad. These 4 roads led to the Heaven, Earth, Black, and Yellow Wings divisions respectively. In this place, Yun Sheng, Dongwang Linger, Abandon, and Goofing were about to be separated. Goofing and I will be going to the Earthwings competition zone. Are you two okay with that? Since Goofing could no longer heal others in the competition area, he had no choice but to participate in the competition as well. He was obviously lacking in confidence, so Abandon decided to accompany him to register and watch a few matches first. No problem. Let's meet at the inn in the evening. Yin Sheng and Dong Wang Linger proceeded towards the Yellow Wings competition zone. On the way, Yin Sheng saw a small shop. She pulled Dong Wang Linger into the shop and picked out 2 masks. Big Fufu Magic Lamp has appeared. Poll, who do you guys want to see the most? Little Wildcat, PK Night Fox? Or some other unexpected characters? I, Magic Lamp, will try my best to fulfill your evil desires. Chapter 600. The 2 masks were half masks that could cover 2/3 of the face, leaving only the eyes, breathing holes, and a small part of the chin exposed. The masks had a green face and fangs, and they looked very ferocious. Once they wore them, no one would be able to recognize them, and they would become a standard female yaksha. No way. Are we really going to compete with such ugly masks? Yun Sheng, did you really listen to that woman Chin Lianer? Are you worried that we will lose badly and lose the face of the continent's magic elite camp? Dong Wang Linger was depressed. She was still fantasizing about being in the limelight in the arena. Although the 2 of them were a little weaker, they were still 2 beauties. The masks that Yun Sheng had chosen were very ugly, and Dong Wang Linger was not willing to wear such a mask. I thought about it carefully. What she said is not completely unreasonable. Yin Sheng found it funny when she saw Dong Wang Linger's appearance. If we lose, it will be quite embarrassing. But if we win, we will definitely attract the attention of others. In order to attract unnecessary trouble, I think wearing masks is a very good idea, Yin Sheng explained. After coming to the continent's magic elite camp, Dong Wang Linger's temper had been tempered, but she was still a little childish. On her way here, Yin Sheng had also noticed that there were quite a few people in the Skywings arena who were wearing masks to participate in the competition. Just now, when Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Linger entered the arena, they saw many people covering their faces. Many of them were wearing the Yiksha masks that they were holding in their hands. There were many reasons why these people covered their faces, but most of them did it for safety reasons. Skywing City was one of the most complicated places in the continent. The Skywing City Lord did not show his face all year round, and Skywing City was like an area that was not managed by anyone. If they won in the arena, especially after winning a large amount of prize money, it was very likely that they would attract the jealousy of others. After leaving the arena, they would still encounter an ambush, and they would not even know where they were. There were also some people who were originally wanted criminals on the continent. After escaping to Skywing City, they also wore masks to avoid being noticed. I'm actually fine, but you're different. Think about it. You ran away from your marriage. What if you accidentally meet an important official or noble who came here for a vacation and recognized you? What should you do then? Yin Sheng tried to scare Dong Wang Linger. Yin Sheng herself could use disguise magic, but disguise magic still consumed mana. When she participated in the competition, Yin Sheng thought that the more mana she retained, the more likely she would win. All right, after hearing what you said, I also feel that wearing a mask is a bit safer. Dong Wang Linger had always listened to Yin Sheng. After hearing Yin Sheng's analysis, Dong Wang Linger also felt that what Yin Sheng said was reasonable. She remembered that in the eastern capital, indeed, there were quite a few nobles and ministers who liked to watch the matches in the Skywings arena. It was said that the left prime minister's family owned a villa in Skywing City. Hence, the 2 of them agreed that neither of them would reveal the fact that they wore masks during the competition. Even Abandon and Gufeng were kept in the dark. If others were to ask about the results of the competition, he would just brush them off. The 2 of them each chose a mask that they liked, put it on, and walked out. After checking the number of matches that day, Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Linger went to the registration area. The Yellow Wings competition zone was also known as the Northern Competition Zone. It was located at the northernmost part of the Skywings arena. Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Linger walked for about an hour before they saw the yellow wall that symbolized the Yellow Wings competition zone. The entire Yellow Wings competition zone looked like an open-air arena. From the outside, the competition zone didn't look very big, but once they walked through the main entrance, Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling discovered that the field of vision ahead was very wide. Clearly, a special space expansion magic had been applied to the competition zone. Report your names. If you want to participate in the two-person competition, then give a group name. The registration staff of the Yellow Wings competition zone asked Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling. The Skywings Arena didn't stipulate that one must use one's real name. Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling didn't plan on using their real names. Do the two of you want to participate in the one-person competition or the two-person competition together? The registration staff of the Skywings Arena's Yellow Wings competition zone asked. Regarding the two of them wearing masks, the person in charge didn't ask a single word, nor did he ask about the two's age. After all, those who could enter and leave Skywing City were either powerhouses or people who came out to train with their elders. The person in charge wasn't surprised by this. What's the difference between the one-person competition and the two-person competition in terms of prize money and results? Yun Sheng's original idea was to participate in the two-person competition together with Dongwang Ling. After all, Dongwang Ling was different from her. This was her first time participating in this kind of competition. Although her magic cultivation wasn't bad, she might not be able to gain an advantage in the arena. She still hoped to participate in the competition together with Yun Sheng. That depends on what you came for. Some people like to participate in the two-person competition for money. Some people like to participate in the one-person competition for glory. Seeing that the two of them were newcomers, the registration staff patiently explained. In terms of difficulty, there wasn't much difference between the one-person competition and the two-person competition in the Yellow Wings competition zone. It was just that the prize money for participating in the two-person competition was double, which was 1,000 gold coins. The one-person competition only had 500 gold coins, so some people who came together for the money liked to participate in the two-person competition. But some people liked to participate in the one-person competition for the glory of the Fighting King. In the one-person competition, one could accumulate a battle record. In the two-person competition, one could only accumulate half of the battle record. The two-person competition also allowed one to accumulate battle records. This point surprised Yun Sheng a little. Although they came to participate in this competition more in the name of the prize money, the title of Fighting King was also one of Yun Sheng's long-cherished wishes. Yun Sheng clearly remembered that when she was in Huangting, Captain Feng Qua had once told her that her father, Yin Songhai, had come to the Skywings Arena to participate in the competition. At that time, when her father had obtained 99 victories, he had met her mother, Hu Jiuxing. It was also in that competition that her father had been defeated by her mother, missing out on the title of Fighting King. But it was also after that Yin Songhai began to pursue Hu Jiuxing. The two of them had left the Skywings Arena one after the other, and they had also lost their final chance to strive for the title of Fighting King. But it was also because they had given up that time that the two of them had been fated to marry each other. 100 victories were needed to obtain the title of Fighting King. Presumably, her father had also participated in the competition at the Yellow Wings level. This inexplicable coincidence gave Yun Sheng a strange feeling. In Yun Sheng's view, whether it was the Skywings Arena or the title of Fighting King, it was a continuation of her parents' fate. If it's possible, she hopes to fulfill the long-cherished wish of her father and mother, the Fighting King, in the Yellow Wings Arena. Yun Sheng thought to herself. Chapter 601. Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling, frankly speaking, lacked both money and glory. Dongwang Ling, who was standing at the side, rolled her eyes. Yun Sheng, why don't we both participate? You and I will participate in the individual competition as individuals, and then participate in the duo competition as a team. Maybe if we are lucky, we can even get a Fighting King to play with. Dongwang Ling was eager to give it a try. On the other hand, she was also very curious about her own strength. Although she was one level higher than Yun Sheng in terms of magic realm, when it came to actual control of magic and combat experience, Dongwang Ling was far from Yun Sheng. She had also asked Yun Sheng before, and Yinsheng only said that she had been a hunter for a few years in her early years and had participated in some competitions and hunting missions. Dong Wanglinger thought that she must also temper herself in the Skywings arena. This way, even if she was separated from Yunsheng in the future, she would still be able to take charge of things on her own. Dong Wanglinger's words were also exactly what Yunsheng was thinking. Yunsheng looked again. The individual competition was arranged in the morning, and the duo competition was arranged in the afternoon. She and Dong Wanglinger could take turns to participate in the individual and duo competitions. This way, regardless of whether it was the prize money or the battle results, they could double it. After discussing with Yunsheng and Dong Wanglinger, Yunsheng decided to use her previous life surname, Yin, to replace her name in the Skywings arena. In any case, the magic attack that Yunsheng was most proficient in right now was the fire magic, Flame Explosion. Dong Wanglinger chose the word Huang, which represented her identity as a princess of the royal family, and also one of her surnames. Let's call our duo group Flame Emperor in the future. The two of us are going to be like the kings of flame and shine brilliantly in the Yellow Wings competition zone. Dong Wanglinger quickly came up with a name for their duo group. Flame Emperor. It had the same effect as her previous life's ancestor, Flame Emperor. Yunsheng didn't know if this was a coincidence, but she nodded in agreement with Dong Wanglinger's idea. The two of them paid another 40 gold coins to register for the individual and duo competitions for the first time. After a while, the two of them each received a yellow feather badge. Contestant Flame and Flame Emperor, your individual competition will be in the morning, and Flame Emperor's duo competition will be in the afternoon. Please wait in the resting area. After about half an hour, the schedule for this morning's individual competition zone will be announced. Following instructions, Yunsheng and Dong Wanglinger went to the resting area. The Heaven's Wings Arena's 4 main competition zones each had a resting area for the contestants. Later on, Yunsheng and Dong Wanglinger also found out that the contestants' resting area was also divided into the public resting area and the VIP resting area. They were still newbies at the moment, so they went to the most ordinary public rest area that could accommodate less than 500 people at a time. It was an area similar to a modern waiting hall or airport terminal, and the decorations were very simple. The spacious and empty resting area was like a market, filled with all kinds of people. Yunsheng and Dong Wanglinger arrived late, and most of the new and old contestants had already gathered together. Yunsheng took note that there were no less than 400 to 500 contestants present. This was the number of contestants in the entire Yellow Wings competition zone for a single day. It could be seen how fierce the competition was. The Yellow Wings competition zone was worthy of being called the most mixed zone of the Skywings Arena's 4 main competition zones. The people here were also uneven. Tall, short, fat, thin, male, female, old, and young. Some of them even looked like 6 or 7 years old from the outside. There were magicians wearing magic scepters, summoners wearing summoning rings, and warriors wearing battle armor. There were all kinds of people. At a cursory glance, most of the magicians had cultivations similar to Yunsheng's. They were master magicians, and there were also some martial marquee warriors. These people were all people who made a living in the Skywings arena all year round, and they were all full of hostility. Yunsheng and Dong Wanglinger walked in, and they instantly had the misconception that they were little white rabbits that had fallen into a wolf's den. Fortunately, there were also some people wearing masks. When Yunsheng and Dong Wanglinger walked in, most people didn't notice. It was just that the crowd was too crowded, and Dong Wanglinger was careless and bumped into a warrior. That warrior was standing together with 4 or 5 other warriors. They looked like a team, and they were all wearing black and yellow warrior attire with wasp patterns. That warrior who was bumped into was very tall and had stone-like muscles. Dong Wanglinger only bumped into him lightly, and he was completely fine. Who knew that the warrior would get angry and push Dong Wanglinger? Don't you have eyes? You want to leave after bumping into me? The warrior turned around and saw that the one who bumped into him was a female magician who was wearing a mask and had a graceful figure. That warrior immediately changed his expression. Yo, you new here? Look at this figure. It's quite alluring. Come, take off your mask for me to take a look. If you're not bad looking, I'll let you off. As he spoke, that warrior immediately changed his tone, and a lustful light appeared in his eyes. He very flirtatiously wanted to take off Dongwang Linger's mask. How could Dongwang Linger endure such frivolity? She waved the magic scepter in her hand, and a lightning flash struck down, almost hitting that warrior's hand. Dongwang Linger still remembered Yin Sheng's earlier instructions. After entering the arena, she had to be careful with everything. Otherwise, she would definitely turn that warrior's hand into roasted pig trotters. That warrior originally thought that Dongwang Linger was just a little white rabbit. Who knew that Dongwang Linger would be so fast and ruthless? If his reaction was a bit slower, he might have already been hit. He immediately flew into a rage, and the other warriors behind him also surrounded Yin Sheng and Dongwang Linger. Where did this shameless bitch come from? Not only did you fail to bump into your brother, you even want to hurt him. You're really rebellious. Newcomers don't know the rules. Most of the people in the contestants' resting area had noticed this scene. It was just that everyone was indifferent and had an indifferent look on their faces. Obviously, this kind of thing was happening in the Yellow Wings competition zone every day. Some newcomers would be suppressed by the seniors, especially some young and beautiful female magicians and female warriors. They wouldn't dare to participate in the Yellow Wings competition alone, unless they were accompanied by someone. Actually, this kind of situation would also happen in the continent's Hunter Citadel. It was just that Yun Sheng was relatively lucky and met Huang Tang's group of three. Feng Quideng's group of three wasn't easy to deal with. Therefore, Yun Sheng didn't experience the suppression of newcomers in the arena. However, the situation right now was different. The two of them were unfamiliar with the various competition zones in Skywing City. Their cultivation was also very ordinary. Therefore, they attracted the attention of the Bee Venom battle team. Someone even muttered, "They really don't have eyes." They even dared to offend the Bee Venom battle team. Chapter 602. It turned out that those 4 or 5 martial artists were members of the Bee Venom squad. They were veteran contestants in the Skywing City area and had been making a living in Skywing City all year round. These people's skills were all around martial marquee. In terms of cultivation, it was actually not much. However, this group of people had a special characteristic. They knew a special kind of poisonous battle skill. The Dochi they released contained a highly toxic poison. Even their attacks contained a highly toxic poison. Especially during the competition, they used all kinds of despicable methods. Since there was no written rule in the Skywings arena that prohibited the use of poison, hidden weapons, and the like, many contestants who encountered Bee Venom for the first time couldn't avoid being at a disadvantage. Those veteran contestants also didn't want to offend the members of Bee Venom. Because of this, these 4 or 5 martial artists were even more unbridled and fearless, becoming the typical scoundrels of the Yellow Wings competition zone. Although their strength wasn't high, they relied on their numbers to bully the newcomers. Yin Sheng, what do we do? Dongwang Linger had never encountered such a situation and was a little nervous. Don't be nervous. Yin Sheng was much calmer, and her eyes quickly scanned the surroundings. The Bee Venom squad naturally wouldn't let go of this opportunity to take advantage of them. What are you all doing? An arrogant and somewhat threatening voice came from the side. A magician in a yellow-gray robe stood up from a leather chair in the corner of the contestants' lounge. This person's cultivation was unknown. He was about 30 years old and looked thin and weak, like a weak scholar, but his eyes were sunken and his skin was yellow with a tinge of green. When Yin Sheng saw this person, she couldn't help but frown. This person looked like he had overindulged in debauchery, and he might not be any better than the Bee Venom squad. As soon as the man opened his mouth, the noise around them immediately quieted down. The members of Bee Venom, who had been pestering Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger, immediately shrunk into a ball when they saw the newcomer, retreating to the side in fear like mice that had seen a cat. The oldest member of Bee Venom walked out, and he was also the boss of the Bee Venom squad, Big Foam. Big B looked at the newcomer, then looked at Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Ling. In his heart, he understood that the newcomer must have taken a liking to Dong Wang Ling and Yun Sheng, just like the five of them. Recently, there weren't many newcomers entering the Skywings arena. In particular, the number of young, beautiful, and voluptuous female magicians and warriors could be counted on one's fingers. Presumably, that lord was also getting impatient from waiting. Yellow Knight Emissary. So it turns out that these two people are the people that you have taken a fancy to. I'm truly sorry, truly sorry. We brothers must have been blind. We will leave now, please. The five brothers didn't dare to look at Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Ling anymore as they hurriedly retreated to the side. The brothers were obviously older than Yellow Knight Emissary, but they still addressed him respectfully. For no reason at all, Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Ling were suddenly rescued. The two of them were somewhat astonished. Yun Sheng noticed that when the spectating contestants saw that man, their eyes were filled with awe and fear, but judging from the yellow-robed man's attire, he wasn't someone from the Heaven's Wings arena. Presumably, that male magician's identity was very special. Yun Sheng noticed that he wasn't wearing any emblem of a Yellow Wings contestant. Very clearly, he wasn't a contestant from this competition zone. Yellow Knight Emissary spoke with arrogance. His slender eyes would occasionally sweep past Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Ling's masks, and his sharp nose caught a whiff of the faint fragrance of a young girl. A wicked light flashed past his eyes. These two female magicians were still inexperienced. Good stuff. Top-notch good stuff. This Yellow Knight Emissary appeared in the Yellow Wings competition zone all year round. He recognized everyone in the competition zone, and every time a newcomer came, he would pay close attention to them. When these two female contestants walked in, although they were wearing sinister-looking Yiksha masks on their faces, their temperament and snow-white, youthful skin still attracted him at first glance. He already couldn't wait to imagine the feeling of hugging these two inexperienced chicks in his arms. Dong Wang Ling was inexperienced in the ways of the world, so when she saw Yellow Knight Emissary helping them out, she didn't have her guard up against him. However, Yun Sheng's sharp senses noticed that there was the smell of medicinal herbs on this man's body. This man was either a doctor or a pharmacist. From the attitude of the people from B Venom Battle Squad, just now, this man was most likely. Yun Sheng's guess was confirmed in the next second. How should I address the two of you? I am Yellow Knight Emissary, who is in charge of the Yellow Wings competition zone. This is a small greeting gift. Please accept it. Yellow Knight Emissary took out 2 bottles of medicinal pills and handed them over to Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Ling. You flatter me. I am Yin, and she is Huang. We are both newcomers who just came to Sky Wing City. Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Ling didn't accept the medicinal pills. This was the first time that someone directly rejected his greeting gift. Yellow Knight Emissary felt a bit disappointed. However, he immediately smiled and said, Contestant Yin and Contestant Huang, you two must have heard of the Hidden Night Pavilion, right? I am the Dark Emissary that the Hidden Night Pavilion set up here. As if he was afraid that Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Ling didn't know what the Hidden Night Pavilion was, Yellow Knight Emissary started to introduce it to them. From Yellow Knight Emissary's words, the Hidden Night Pavilion became the biggest medical center in Skywing City. The Hidden Night Pavilion was different from traditional medical centers. Not only did it sell medicinal pills related to ancient medical skills, but it also sold a large amount of finished potions. The Hidden Night Pavilion was also in charge of the sales of medicinal herbs in the entire Skywing City. Therefore, regardless of whether one was a warrior or a magician, one would be able to obtain the best medicine and treatment here. Yellow Knight Emissary thought that Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Ling would reveal looks of admiration after hearing what Yellow Knight Emissary said. However, Yun Sheng and Dong Wang Ling were already gnashing their teeth. This was especially so for Dong Wang Ling. She really wanted to punch Yellow Knight Emissary until he became a pig's head. Esteemed female magicians, I wonder if the two of you are interested in joining the Hidden Night Pavilion? The man who was addressed as Yellow Knight Emissary clearly didn't notice the anger of the two women. He looked at them with an expectant expression, waiting for their reply. There were very few people who could resist the temptation of the Hidden Night Pavilion, especially these ignorant newcomers. The people of the Hidden Night Pavilion were truly enemies on a narrow road. When Yun Sheng and Dongwang Ling heard about the Hidden Night Pavilion, especially Dongwang Ling, they were about to flare up. However, they were pulled down by Yun Sheng. Yun Sheng secretly made a hand gesture to Dongwang Ling, although there was only one person on the other side who knew if there were people from the Hidden Night Pavilion among these contestants. Fortunately, Dongwang Ling was wearing a mask. Thus, the male magician didn't notice her abnormality. "I'm sorry, our team doesn't know much about the Hidden Night Pavilion. Perhaps after a while, we will consider whether or not to join the Hidden Night Pavilion," Yun Sheng said with a fake smile. "That's nothing. The two of you are newcomers, so it's normal that you don't know about the Hidden Night Pavilion. However, if the two of you are going to stay in Skywing City for a long time, you will definitely have to cooperate with the Hidden Night Pavilion. This is because the Hidden Night Pavilion not only controls the medicinal pills and potions of Skywing City, but also has a large number of light-type and detoxifying water-type magicians." The male magician's tone was filled with pride. Chapter 603. Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger were shocked. Previously, they only thought that the other party had monopolized pills and potions. They didn't expect that even light and water mages were under the control of the Hidden Night Pavilion. No wonder Goofing had been beaten up by the people of the Hidden Night Pavilion when he was performing magic treatment here. The silence of the two made the male mage even more pleased. "You are all contestants, so you should know very well that injuries are inevitable in the competition. If you become a contestant under the name of the Hidden Night Pavilion, we will provide you with all kinds of pills and potions, as well as a monthly magic treatment for free." The male mage was still afraid that Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger would hesitate, so he encouraged them even more. "We don't provide this right to every contestant. We will only recruit contestants that the Night Envoy recognizes as having potential." "Oh, that sounds pretty good. I wonder what we have to pay to join the Hidden Night Pavilion." Yun Sheng sneered inwardly. She would never believe such a good thing as a free lunch falling from the sky. The two of them didn't have obvious strength, so how could they become contestants with potential? The magic scepter of the Hidden Night Pavilion with the surname Huang was embedded with 3 fire tribute magical beast soul stones. His cultivation was only at the level of a master mage. But for the people present to be so wary of him, there must be something about him that surpassed others. "You are contestants of the Yellow Wings Division. According to the rules of the Hidden Night Pavilion, you only need to pay 70% of the winning bonus," the man who called himself the Night Envoy said straightforwardly. 70%? Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger both cursed in their hearts. 70% of the bonus was still considered simple. They only had to provide the simplest pills and potions, as well as a monthly magic treatment, and they could get 70% of the bonus. This was simply asking for too much. Did this damned Hidden Night Pavilion really think that they were fools? If it had been any other newcomer to the Heaven's Wings arena, they might have been bewitched. But this Night Envoy with bad eyesight obviously didn't have much luck. He didn't know that Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger had been suppressing a bellyful of anger because of the Hidden Night Pavilion. Yun Sheng was a doctor and magic apothecary. She was also the water fairy little queen who possessed the super powerful water fairy healing technique. In this world, there were very few potions and magical treatments that could catch Yun Sheng's eye. Not to mention one Hidden Night Pavilion. Even if there were 10 Hidden Night Pavilions, it would still be the same. Of course, if the two of you were to break through and participate in the competition of the Earth Wings competition zone of the next level, the prize money can be reduced to 50%. If the two of you were to reach the Heaven's Wings competition zone, then the prize money can be reduced to 30%. Furthermore, we will also provide you with high-grade elixirs and magic potions, as well as more than 10 times of magic treatment per month. The Night Envoy thought that Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger were tempted. But if our luck is bad, or if we're not strong enough, and we don't win a single match in a month, how are we going to repay the Hidden Night Pavilion? Or what if we only win 500 gold coins in a month? What should we do? Yin Sheng pretended to ask. The price of an ordinary mid-grade pill was no less than 100 gold coins, and a single light healing pill was even more priceless. Could it be that the Hidden Night Pavilion would be willing to make a loss? Ha! The Night Envoy laughed awkwardly. He actually cared that the two new female magicians were much smarter than he thought. The minimum prize money that the Hidden Night Pavilion requires is 1,000 gold coins. If the money is not enough, that night, Envoy's gaze wandered around Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger's body with malicious intentions. The two women's figures were very alluring. Just by looking at them, one would swallow their saliva. It was no wonder that so many magicians and warriors were lustful. Yellow Knight Envoy thought to himself, if these two women really join the Hidden Night Pavilion, I'll have to do something to make them lose a few more matches. At that time, if the two of them can't repay 70% of the prize money, I'll make them pay with their bodies. I might even be able to enjoy it first. Knight Envoy, what will happen if the money is not enough? Will it be accumulated until next month? Dongwang Linger was disgusted by his gaze, and she wished that she could dig out his eyeballs. The Hidden Night Pavilion's accounts never exceed a month. Both of you are beautiful women. Under the mask, you must think that your looks are not ordinary and are afraid of attracting lechers. If you are really unlucky and can't pay, then I'll have to trouble the two of you to help me entertain some important guests of the Hidden Night Pavilion. The Night Envoy's words were very explicit. Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger immediately understood. The prices in Skywing City were very high. Those who came to Skywing City were either powerful or rich. Those rich and powerful people liked to have some fun when they came to Skywing City. In particular, some people like to look for young and beautiful female magicians and warriors to serve them to increase their fun. Those female warriors and magicians who agreed to the Hidden Night Pavilion's conditions would be forced to become the playthings of those powerful people or rich people if they couldn't pay the corresponding amount of money at the end of the month. Part of the reason why this Night Envoy had his eyes on Yun Sheng and Dongwang Linger was because he felt that the two of them were quite powerful and had very attractive figures. That was why he came forward to strike up a conversation with them. He had already calculated in his heart. Even if the two female magicians' strength was ordinary, he could still use them to compensate with their bodies. Bastard, you want us to be prostitutes? Dongwang Linger couldn't hold it in anymore and gave him a slap. This great aunt was already used to being a princess. Normally, when facing Yun Sheng and other little friends, her temper would be restrained by quite a bit. But now, she was actually humiliated by a bullshit Night Envoy. How could Dongwang Linger endure it? She had long been itching to slap him. This slap even contained some wind elemental magical power. The strength of the slap was very strong, and the sound of the slap was very crisp. With a slap, that Night Envoy of the Hidden Night Pavilion was caught off guard and was beaten to a pulp. You actually dared to hit me. Yellow Knight Envoy was in charge of this competition zone. In this competition zone, he had always been a lofty existence. Who would have thought that today he would actually be taught a lesson by a newbie female magician? Just now, when Dongwang Linger flared up, she didn't care about the situation or the mission. Her voice of scolding was heard by everyone in the competition zone. This caused everyone to look over. Yellow Knight Envoy had done quite a lot of things like forcing women to become prostitutes. However, to be openly slapped in front of everyone, this was truly the first time in history. Everyone had an expression as if they were waiting to watch a good show. And here I was wondering what the Hidden Night Pavilion was. So, it turns out that it is just a place where men steal and women prostitute. They say that they're selling medicine, but it turns out that they're actually trying to persuade others to sell their bodies. Simply shameless. Dongwang Linger opened her mouth and scolded continuously. Chapter 604. Yin Sheng found it funny and decided to watch the show from the side. She guessed that Yellow Knight emissary wouldn't dare to make things difficult for Dongwang Ling in front of so many people. His face felt hot and immediately swelled up like a balloon. Yellow Knight Emissary was already flustered and exasperated. Two bitches. One of you is a master mage, and the other is a saint mage. Do you really think that with your skills, you could survive in the Yellow Wings competition zone? Do you believe that I can make the two of you die miserably with just a flick of my thumb? Dark Emissary, you don't have to worry about whether we can survive here or not. The two of us have no interest in the Dark Knight Pavilion. Now you can scram, Yunsheng said coldly. Yellow Knight Emissary still wanted to flare up, but when he looked at Yunsheng, he discovered that under her mask, two cold glints shot out. For some reason, his entire body shivered. He was actually frightened by the aura of this female, mage, who didn't speak much since the beginning. She was clearly just a newbie, so why would he feel such a chill? Good job, the two of you. If you have the ability, just wait and see. To dare to offend the Dark Knight Pavilion. Just wait for your misfortune. Yellow Knight Emissary held onto his extremely swollen face and limped away. After the people from the Dark Knight Pavilion left, the five brothers from B Venom looked at Yunsheng and Dongwang Ling, as if they were looking at dead people. To even dare to offend Yellow Knight Emissary. Let's see how the two of you can survive in the Yellow Wings competition zone in the future. The influence of the Dark Knight Pavilion was much stronger than what Yunsheng and Donghuang Ling had imagined. The two of them had thought that the Dark Knight Pavilion had only monopolized the sales of elixirs and demonic potions outside of Skywing City. They didn't expect that their influence had already brazenly extended into the competition zone. The two of them are indeed newbies, not afraid of death. The contestants at the side pointed at Yunsheng and Dongwang Ling and whispered. Among the contestants, half of them were those who cooperated with the Dark Knight Pavilion, and the other half were those who didn't. However, no matter which power it was, none of them dared to act like Yunsheng and Dongwang Ling directly beating up the Dark Envoy. After all, the Hidden Knight Pavilion controlled almost all of Skywing City's elixirs, potions, and healing magicians. They were often needed. In the past, there were also some newcomers who had disobeyed Yellow Knight Emissary's orders and ended up in a terrible state. There were even some female magicians who, because they were unwilling to accompany guests, had their magic souls crippled and were sold to brothels on the continent. Now, they were living a life worse than death. The contestants of the Yellow Wings competition zone all thought that Yin and Emperor were too tactless. Don't bother about them. Just focus on participating in the competition. Yinsheng saw everyone's reaction and didn't say anything else. Pulling Dongwang Ling along with her, she stood at the side and waited for the competition to be announced. Yellow Knight Emissary flew into a rage out of humiliation and walked out of the contestant resting area. How unlucky. He thought that he'd found two top-notch goods today, but who knew? Yunsheng and Dongwang Ling were both newcomers. Both of them were wearing masks, but their figures already showed that their appearances were definitely not ordinary. There were already quite a number of good-looking female magicians and female warriors who had fallen into Yellow Knight Emissary's hands. This person's cultivation was ordinary, but his mind was very cunning. Yellow Knight Emissary's real name was Yellow Kindness, and he was as slippery as an eel. Although he was only a fire magic master, he was an outstanding pharmacist. Not only could he refine mid-grade elixirs, but he could also refine potions. He also relied on this special ability to refine potions to enter the Hidden Knight Pavilion and become the Yellow Wings competition zone's Dark Envoy. He controlled more than 30% of the contestants in the Yellow Wings competition zone and even colluded with some internal members of the Skywing Arena. As long as it was a female contestant that he fancied, he would think of ways to make the other party lose the competition. He didn't even hesitate to use the elixirs and potions that were provided. In the end, he made those female magicians and warriors become the playthings of the Hidden Knight Pavilion to please the rich. Yellow Knight Emissary, are you all right? Seeing Yellow Knight Emissary walk out, Boss B of Venom followed him. Boss B, why are you following me? Are you here to see me make a fool of myself? Yellow Knight Emissary was flustered and exasperated. How would I dare? Yellow Knight Emissary. Actually, you don't have to take it to heart. They're just two chicks. As long as you nod your head, I'll immediately cripple those two tactless women in the first round. I don't dare to say I'll cripple two, but it'll be easy to cripple one. Boss B had a fawning expression. You're confident? Hearing this, Yellow Knight Emissary's anger instantly subsided. This Boss B was good at using poison and had cooperated with the Hidden Knight Pavilion. He could be considered a very obedient dog under Yellow Knight Emissary. According to Yellow Knight Emissary's orders, Boss B had poisoned some contestants who didn't cooperate with the Hidden Knight Pavilion several times. This attracted a lot of business for the Hidden Knight Pavilion. The two of them could be considered to be snakes and rats from the same nest. They're just two newbies. Especially that one called Yin. She's only a master mage. For people like her, even if a few of us brothers come, we'll be able to take care of them. Boss B had stayed in the arena for a long time and had learned how to read people's expressions. Although these two young girls didn't know how to appreciate favors, from Yellow Knight Emissary's expression, it was clear that they were drooling over them. All right, I'll leave this matter to you. In a while, I'll find someone to arrange a match between you and that. However, I'll say this first. It doesn't matter what methods you use, but you must not injure that woman's face. Yellow Knight Emissary had seen Dong Wang Ling fight before. No matter what, the other party was a saint magician. Furthermore, she was a wind element magician. Against a wind element magician, B. Venom, who was good at using poison, wouldn't have much of an advantage. Thus, he decided to first pick Yin, who appeared to be much weaker, to make an example out of her. At that time, he wouldn't have to worry about those two young girls coming to him. Yellow Knight Emissary, please be at ease. However, if this matter were to succeed, Boss B had a fawning expression on his face. I won't forget about your benefits. At the very most, for this month, your B Venom will be able to reduce the reward by 20%. Yellow Knight Emissary had already calculated. The benefits that he would be able to get from the two young girls would be much more than this 20%. Yellow Knight Emissary, just you wait. In the competition later on, I will make that woman obedient. Boss B and Yellow Knight Emissary looked at each other and smiled. Yellow Knight Emissary and Boss Feng were whispering to each other. Not far away, in a dark corner, one of the four dragon wings, Long Shui, witnessed everything. Those two wanted to deal with Yin Shang. Should I tell my master about this matter? Under Yi Baiming's orders, Long Shui snuck into the Yellow Wings competition zone. According to Yi Baiming's orders, if there was any news that was unfavorable to Yin Shang, he was to immediately stop it. When Long Shui recalled the conversation between Yin Shang and his master, he felt a burst of jealousy in his heart. Other people might not have noticed it, but Long Shui had already noticed it. When his master looked at that young girl called Yin Shang, his gaze was different from when he looked at other people. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.